the more teams are ready and I think prepared. And it's not necessarily the Jaguars of old where the team shows up and everybody kind of assumes they're going to beat the Jags. Like, we expect to prepare all week long and go in and be successful and efficient and come out with a win.
Jaguars football is on the air. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey have all the news and information you need to get you ready for today's game. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Now to get things started, here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
And at long last, it is week 1 in the National Football League. The Jacksonville Jaguars begin one of the most anticipated seasons in franchise history. Today, the Jags start in the Big Apple. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Football Giants kick off the 2018 season today at 1 o'clock. Welcome into the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick along with Mike Dempsey. We're at the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Here we go. Finally, the preseason is done. The team is cut and ready down to 53, and we're playing real football on this Sunday.
JP, honestly, it's kind of like an Avengers movie, right? To me, this is. I'll tell you why. You've got all these guys that are almost like superheroes at the positions they play. Jalen Ramsey is a particular kind of player. Calais Campbell, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. You got all pros, Pro Bowlers all over this roster, and today they all come together collectively to go up against the New York Giants. I'm telling you, to me, this team is like a blockbuster opening day roster of superstar talent, particularly on the defensive side, but even on the offensive side. You got Leonard Fournette, who could be in for a monster breakout campaign. You get an all-pro guard and Andrew Norwell joining the mix. And you got Blake Bortles back on a new contract, trying to take this team at least one game further than they got last year. The most anticipated opening day I can remember in a long, long time.
And I don't know that we'll keep with that theme here. They're doing it in Gotham too. Is that an event?
You're crossing a little bit over universes, but we'll allow it.
Okay, it counts. We'll do it. But you're right. I mean, especially on the defensive side, you know what this group is going to be. There's still question marks on offense. What will it really look like? You have some ideas. You got the quarterback signed up. You got Fournette coming back for year 2. You've upgraded the offensive line. There's hope that can improve and move on as the season goes on here, but you just haven't really seen that part of it yet. For me, I think that's the big question mark.
We're going to see it all today, right? All come together. The offense, the defense. We don't know what we have here, right? The last couple of outings for the defense gave up a lot of points to the Pittsburgh Steelers and couldn't hold a fourth-quarter lead against the New England Patriots. Those are the facts of the matter. Doesn't mean they can't have one of the best defensive seasons we've seen in a long time, but I think a big key is going to be health. We saw last year, with the exception of Allen Robinson going out in week 1. This team was extremely fortunate in that department. They've already lost Marquise Lee, their number 1 receiver this year, so it's eerily similar in that regard. I think from this point forward, they would take only those 2-man games lost on defense, 2 or 3-man games lost in terms of starters not being available last year. They were incredibly fortunate. And the good thing for them, JP, is if they do have some injuries on that side of the ball, they're really deep at most of the position groups.
All right, plenty to get to today in the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll hear from A.J. Boyer coming up. Pat Flaherty, the offensive line coach, will break down his starting 5. And Barry Church has quite a history against the New York Giants with the Dallas Cowboys in his past. We'll hear from him as well, and we'll go to New York here in just a little bit and get an update from the booth. Here are today's top stories, and you might have heard that Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr. are playing against each other this week. Well, go back 4 or 5 weeks ago to the start of the preseason. We heard from Jalen Ramsey for the first time in training camp, the Jaguars cornerback entering his 3rd year, coming off a first-team All-Pro selection a season ago, and he was asked back then about the Week 1 matchup with Odell Beckham.
I mean, let's get this out the way right now. He's a good receiver. We all know that. But y'all know me at the same time. If y'all think that, he good, but I'm good too. If y'all want to say he the best at his position, I'm the best at my position. So we're going to go at it. We're going to give the people a show. First game of the season. You're going to have some wins. I'm going to have some wins. I just plan on having more wins. That's the plan I'm going to go in there with. I'm going to work my ass off to get to that point where I can, like I just said, not let anybody down. And I'm sure he's doing that on the other side too. So that's what y'all asked for. You know what I'm saying? As fans of the game, as, NFL, everybody, that's what y'all asked for. So we're gonna give it to you for sure. I know I am.
All right, that was the start of the preseason. Things have developed, I guess we could say, over the last month or so with Jalen Ramsey. Remember, he was suspended from the football team. The interaction with the media and all that stuff happened. He's now come back this week, and here's when he was asked about the matchup with Odell Beckham Jr., what he had to say.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to beginning the season with the whole team. A lot of people gonna try to make it about me and him specifically. That's not what it's about. Football's a team game. It's gonna be 11 guys out there for us, 11 guys out there for them. So we're gonna have to come together and do what we got to do to try to get a win. I'm gonna try to do my part.
Well, that's a little different tone this week, but there's Jalen Ramsey both a month ago and this week.
Well, I think they're both correct, right? I mean, people do tune in. People want the show. This has been the biggest talking point matchup all week long, national football media, of Jalen Ramsey versus Odell Beckham Jr., Odell Beckham Jr. versus Jalen Ramsey, however you want to frame it. But in the intervening time, we got the GQ article that came out where he, took a lot of quarterbacks to task and was very critical of them, rightly or wrongly. Had an ESPN in-depth piece come out on him, and some similar tones come out in that. And with the 1-week suspension for not playing nice with the media, you wonder if someone in the organization said, hey, Jalen, maybe let's promote the team-first aspect of this. It does seem kind of coincidental that it is flipped in that regard, but who cares? All eyes are going to be on Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr. every time these guys are matched up today. And I don't think it's going to be exclusively that matchup, JP. He had a little bit of an ankle injury, although not listed on the injury report today. You've got another all-pro corner on the other side in A.J. Boye, and we'll see what they do when Odell goes to the slot, as the Giants have utilized him a lot there in the offseason, and perhaps in a way to gain more favorable matchups. The Jags have DJ Hayden. They can add safety help over the top, so that'll be fun to watch all afternoon.
All right, it is opening week, of course. Everybody fired up for the first game, and that includes linebacker and defensive captain Telvin Smith.
You can take us to the park around the corner and say it's opening day, and the fact that you know that it's the first one, you ain't did this in a while. It's a lot of anticipation of what the season going to be like, what your team going to be like as individuals, what you going to come out and be like. It's just opening day is opening day for any sport. I think it has that. So no matter where it's at, we wish we could have came out here to Duval and open it up, but, we're going to get our shot.
I love listening to Telvin Smith. He's so spirited, so into it, and he just got the big contract, of course. He's a team captain, and he's ready to roll. Let's do this.
Hey, great personality, great player, gives everything he has, a good leader for this football team, animated on the field as well. I think Jalen talks. The players say that Telvin talks the most of anybody between the lines out there. So, look, it's a team with a lot of spirit, like you said, and we didn't know what they had opening day last year, right? When they went into Houston, can they find a way to beat the Texans? Well, they found a lot of ways to beat the Texans last year, primarily the pass rush dominating. Will we get a repeat performance out of the gates against the Giants' offensive line that's got a lot of new pieces in place this year?
Calais Campbell was a big part of that opening performance last year. He knows how important it is to open fast for this defense.
I think it's always important to start fast. The NFL, you don't really get like a grace period to adjust. Every game is so crucial, so critical. But obviously you're going to have, hiccup or two, it's just the nature of the business. Every day is not going to be your day. But for the most part, you definitely want to start fast. That's to give yourself the best position, especially, when you have the talent we have and just, the focus and the hard work we've been doing. It comes down to really just taking care of the small things and executing right away, and that first game is going to be a true test because this is a very talented team that we got to go see, in a tough environment. And so, we got to make sure we bring our A game.
He had a career season a year ago, and it was part of a group that collectively had a fantastic year, probably the best defensive year in this franchise's history, I would say. I think that's hard to –
99 was
pretty good, but it's right up there. It's one of the 1A, 1B. It's got to be close. Now, I don't know if you could predict a 10-sack game. Again, those are hard to come by. They did it twice last year.
Yeah, had a couple.
I get it. But the feeling is that this is a group that's going to get after it once again, and maybe even more so. They aren't just resting on their stats from a year ago. They want to do more and more and more. in every department, not just sacks, turnovers, scoring. They feel like they can elevate everything.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's a high bar because all the defensive scores that they had last year, I think, is going to be tough to replicate. I think they're capable of doing it, but that's a little bit fluky to some degree as well. Calais Campbell, in addition to the 14.5 sacks, had 30 quarterback hits, which was second in the National Football League. So he's getting to the quarterback, affecting him a lot. You think about that. Put that in perspective, though. That's hitting the quarterback twice a week. Right? I mean, that's the success rate of actually getting home for a guy who was one of the best defensive players in the league. But you can impact the game in so many other ways, be a stout run defender. Putting pressure on the quarterback doesn't always mean hitting him. And Calais Campbell gets his arms up, swats a lot of passes as well. He's an intimidating force coming off the edge. And if I'm Eli Manning, I'm hoping that Eric Flowers ate his Wheaties today.
Let's get to the offense now. Everybody's talked about quarterback Blake Bortles and his improvement in the offense this offseason, just feeling better, looking better, and getting in and out of the huddle and such. From his perspective, what has improved for Blake Bortles?
I'd say third down, run game. I think you hone in as a quarterback, first learning the system. You're so focused on the pass game and making sure you got that down. Because as a quarterback, that's kind of what everybody's worried about and making sure you're on point with. But I think getting us in the right runs and then protections on third down, I think have grown a lot. And part of that is the reps of going through all last year with Nate's system and seeing as many looks as we did and as many different things. You kind of, not that you see everything. Every game you go in and you see something that they didn't necessarily show you before, but you've seen it somewhere else. You've had that adjustment already made, so you get an opportunity and a chance to fix it on the sidelines. So I think kind of just honing in on our protection rules and continuing to get better and picking up pressures.
Blake Bortles, entering year number 5, has the new contract in hand and has control of this offense another season under offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. It's week 1. It's time to look around the National Football League. Real games coming up today, but news everywhere, of course, on opening week.
Oh, plenty of news. Last night, as a matter of fact, the Arizona Cardinals reached agreement with David Johnson on a new 3-year contract extension that will reportedly pay the running back $30 million guaranteed with a top end somewhere around $45-50 million. I think Le'Veon Bell thinks he's going to get a lot more than that if he ever hits the open market. I don't know if he will. Meanwhile, his holdout will extend through week 1 of the regular season. That would be Bell, of course. He failed to report this week to sign his franchise tender with the Steelers, which would have paid him $14.5 million this season. Bell forfeits over $800,000 every game he misses, and in his place today, James Conner will get the start as the Steelers open on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. Seattle safety Earl Thomas ended his holdout just a few days ago. He'll be active today versus the Denver Broncos for the Seahawks. Thomas seeking either a new contract from Seattle or a trade. He didn't get either, and he'll instead have to settle for making just $8 million this year. The Oakland Raiders traded for former Steelers wide receiver Martavis Bryant this offseason. Bryant was at the cost of a third-round pick to Pittsburgh in exchange. They released Bryant on the eve of the season. News coming out that he's likely in line for a 1-year suspension for a violation of the NFL drug policy. Some injuries of note today. Joey Bosa is out with a foot injury for the LA Chargers. They take on Kansas City. And for Kansas City, their outstanding safety Eric Berry is doubtful to play on the other side. Other guys doubtful to suit up. Jermaine Kearse, the wide receiver of the Jets. Devontae Parker, Miami wide receiver, has a finger injury. Will Fuller of the Texans, a game-time decision, although they say it's trending towards him not suiting up today against New England. Marlon Mack and Anthony Costanzo, running back and left tackle for the Colts, both questionable with hamstring injuries. Greg Olsen showed up late on the injury report this week, questionable with a back for the Carolina Panthers.
There you have it. A look around the National Football League. More news a little bit later in the Publix Tailgate Show, and we're just getting started. We'll return with First Rounds on Us. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli join us for a game preview. The Jaguars and the Giants kick it off at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
Jags fans, your defending AFC South champs are committed to playing at the top of their game. And at TIAA Bank, we're ready to get your money in top form. By opening a yield pledge checking or money market account, you'll be able to unlock some of the most competitive rates in the country. Visit a financial center near you or find us online at TIAABank.com/Jags. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, Gillette and Venus razors and cartridges are on sale. $4 off, too.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. This September, try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. I've been doing this for 20 years, but success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Thank you for helping me move this thing along. You helped me get this thing going in the early days by telling 20 of your closest friends about Tito's. They told 20 more, and it kept growing from there. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support. Thank you very much. Go to Tito'sVodka.com and pick up some Tito's gear. All proceeds benefit our charity partners. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
At Farrah & Farrah, our philosophy can be boiled down to one word: respect. Respect for every client regardless of who they are or the size of their case. Respect for innocent victims, and respect for the law. So when the insurance company thinks they can bully you instead of paying a claim, we respectfully disagree. If you're hurt, call Farrah & Farrah. We'll help you get the respect you deserve. Call 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HannaneyAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jags and the Giants kick it off at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium. JTA's Game Day Express is back and ready for action. Don't get stuck in game day traffic. Park at any of the 5 convenient locations and then hop on board and take it to the bank. It's time for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first round choice, Jeff Lageman.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle, Southern California, Tony Baselli.
Only way to the top is looking out for number 1, and that's us. Keep looking out for number 1.
We head to MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, for the first time in the regular season. Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman join us from the broadcast booth. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, JP. We're in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, a little rain today.
Yeah, it's spitting right now.
Yeah, but it's light, and I don't know if it's supposed to get heavier as the kind of the day wears on. The wind's supposed to pick up as well, so I mean something to kind of keep an eye on as far as game conditions go. But I mean, right now it's not bad. You know, kind of a misty rain, and as long as it stays like that, it'll be fine.
It's like Christmas morning, I think, guys. You know what? There's so many different great storylines for the Jaguars that I can't wait to see play out on the field and how they play out. What are the 1 or 2 things you're most looking forward to seeing as this game goes on today?
Well, I mean, I think you have to start with the matchup between Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham. I mean, as far as just 2 of the best players at their position in the league going to be matched up, I believe Jalen will track Odell, especially when they're in man, and follow him around the field. So that's something I think is much-watched TV. Jeff said he's going to have the popcorn out this this game to watch that. That'll be fun. I think the other matchup I'll be watching, guys, is the Nate Solder against Ngakoue. 2 good players going at it. I think that'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, and look, I like the Odell Beckham, Jalen Ramsey matchup. I just wonder how much we're going to see of it because, you know, the first regular season game, there's always a lot of unknowns and uncertainty when it comes to game plans, especially when you've got a new staff. And so I kind of get the impression, and maybe I'm wrong, and I get the feeling that the Jaguars' defense is probably going to be a little bit more zone in today's game, and so you may not see Jalen Ramsey against Odell Beckham a whole bunch because they want to. And now maybe in the second half, and if they go true man, absolutely you'll see that. But I think there'll be a little bit more zone to start out with. For me, though, the game is about the trenches. It could be inclement weather in today's game. The Giants spent a ton of money and a ton of energy rebuilding their offensive line. The Jaguars have done the same thing with Norwell and trying to get their ground game back and running again. So I just think that this is a game that's got to be won in the trenches, and to me that's where the attention needs to be.
Yeah, some upgrades there for the Jaguars, of course, with Norwell. So what about Bortles? Blake Bortles, new contract coming in. What is this? Will this offense look a little different than last year? Will they move the ball down the field some, or is today just a trenches, let's pound the rock football game?
I think it's going to be pound the rock and then also a complement of some RPO type stuff, which we saw a little bit of that in the Atlanta Falcons game, and I think they had the entire offseason to evaluate what everybody around the league is doing with RPOs, and it suits Blake Bortles. And you've got 3 running backs that are really good. And so we saw in the preseason some different combinations, Fournette and T.J. Yeldon, or Fournette and Corey Grant. And I think we're going to see a lot of that today, and I think we're going to see some of those packages expand, and I think it's going to be good for Blake Bortles to have that.
Guys, what are your expectations this year for Austin Seferian-Jenkins? Didn't get to see him play with Bortles much in the preseason, but certainly brings a big presence over the middle.
I don't know. I mean, that's the honest answer.
Because
if you had asked me this 5 weeks ago, Mike, as it was going in, I thought he was going to be a big part of this offense, big third down and short to medium threat, red zone threat. But we didn't see it. He had 1 catch. I think he had 2 targets for the entire preseason. Now, part of that's because of the injuries he had, but I didn't notice the tight ends overall. I mean, he had Niles Paul in there quite a bit. A couple targets in the game here or there. But I didn't notice as much as I would have expected in the preseason and even training camp, where the tight end was featured. So I have no idea. I hope they use him because I think it's a great threat on that third and medium and also the red zone with his big body, and he has very good hands. He's athletic. He's a good receiver, and he's blocked pretty well in the preseason as well. So I just don't know.
Yeah, his blocking was good, and that's the most important thing. And will he develop a role in the passing game? We'll see. But you need to have a tight end that has a role in this offense in the passing game, and so I hope that Blake and him can find a little bit of chemistry, and they've talked about it. They said that, look, in practice they feel good about it, but the reality is in the games we've yet to see it, and Seferian-Jenkins was on the injury report this week, and that, I think, leads to even further questions. There was already questions to begin with because of the amount of reps that we saw him and Blake get together and the number of times that they connected, but then you add the injury to that, and I think it even adds even more cloudiness to that.
Yeah, first time in 19 years the Jaguars have not had Kyle Brady or Mercedes Lewis on the roster, and Seferian-Jenkins is the next in line. Back to the defense now. Saquon Barkley is making his debut today for the New York Giants. You didn't see much of him at all in the preseason. 3 carries or something? The first one was
4 carries. 4 carries, and the first one was fantastic for 39 yards.
It was 39 yards on the first touch in the preseason. Do you go back to tape? Do you not of college tape? Do you? I mean, different guys have different philosophies on this. How would you guys prepare for Saquon Barkley?
I don't think you can. I mean, look, they made the college tape available to Saquon Barkley, and I think you've got different opinions on the value of that. I mean, you just talk to the linebackers. Miles Jack said he was going to watch it. Telvin Smith said, no, I'm not going to watch it. So, does it have value? I mean, it probably does, just as far as if you watch his college tape, you're going to say, hey, man, this guy can play football, and you better respect him. But at the same token, is it going to help you with your reads and the diagnosis and tricks maybe to help attack him with a tackling plan? Probably not, because the NFL game is different. The angles are different. He may look unbelievable in the college level game, but it's a different level of speed here in the NFL. So if in some cases it applies, some other cases it doesn't.
Guys, I know Tom Coughlin says business as usual going up to play a
former
right. team once again, right? I mean, how sweet do you think it's going to be for TC if they're able to pull out the victory?
Well, all you got to do is this, Mike. I'm looking across the stadium right now. We're from our booth, and I see Tom Coughlin's name in the Ring of Honor here in New York. You don't think he wants to come up and beat his team and beat this place? And let's not forget, I know his name's up here, it was not the most smooth transition with him leaving here. I know it was, it was reported that he resigned and everything else.
Yeah, he didn't resign?
Yeah, I don't think that
you
was
don't think
quite
so?
how it went down, and it was not amicable at all, in my opinion, between the Giants and Tom Coughlin. I think it's fine now, but Tom Coughlin is...
You think it's fine now? I think it'll be fine when Tom Coughlin can rub the face
Well, I think Tom Coughlin
is
a ultimate competitor and has a very long memory.
He didn't forgive the Jaguars until Wayne Weaver sold the team.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Look, and if I'm Tom Coughlin, heck yeah, he's got a right to be mad. They fired him. And who did they fire him for? Some slappy, that couldn't even keep the job here in New York for more than a couple years. What kind of a joke of a decision was that?
It was a poor one.
That's Tom Coughlin's mentality, so, but he's moved on.
He has not moved on. Let me tell you right now, he has not moved on.
Big game today, certainly for Coach Coughlin and for the Jaguars to open the season in New York. There you have it. Hey, so we'll come back. Get your fantasy picks ready. The first time in 2018.
Go over the rules, because I can't remember what the rules are.
We will review the rules when we return. Also, a little bit later, A.J. Boye discusses opening weekend and much more off the field with Jaguars.com reporter Ashton Sullivan. The Jags and the Giants at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio. Technology today is always changing, but one thing has remained consistent for the past decade in Jacksonville. CSI Tech is your partner for finding the top IT talent in Northeast Florida. Across the full spectrum of IT positions, CSI Tech can find the right fit for you. And with their award-winning People Done Right philosophy, you can feel confident in the results. Call CSI Tech at 800-582-0828 or go to peopledoneright.com and partner with CSI Tech, part of the CSI companies and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Does your small business internet provider promise a lot? Let's hear who really delivers. Comcast Business offers gig speed in more places and lets calls from any of your devices appear to come from your business number. Other providers don't. Call 1-800-501-6000 to get 75 megabit internet from Comcast Business for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you get 2 voice mobility lines. Offer ends 9/21/18. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. 2-year term required. Early termination fee applies. Require subscription in 2 Comcast Business voice mobility lines and additional regular monthly rates. Equipment tax and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Tony Smith with your 1010XL local sports update. Death taxes and the Florida Gators beating the Kentucky Wildcats in football. Two of those things are still sure things after Kentucky finally broke through after a 31-year losing streak against the Gators. With a 27-16 win in the Swamp last night, Kentucky rushed for 303 yards in the win, 175 from their running back Benny Snell. We got another 105 on the ground from their dual-threat quarterback Terry Wilson, who accounted for all 3 Kentucky touchdowns, two through the air, 1 on the ground for the Gators. Felipe Franks, 17 of 38 throwing the ball, wound up as the Gators' leading rusher on the night, picking up 44 yards on 11 carries. Elsewhere in the state, Florida State trailed throughout the vast majority of the game, finally pulling out ahead of Samford when Trey McQuitty hauled in a 5-yard touchdown pass from DeAndre Francois with just 4:03 remaining in the contest. Willie Taggart picking up his first win as the Noles head coach, 36-26 the final last night in Tallahassee. I'm Tony Smith. This has been your 1010XL local sports update. More of the Publix Tailgate Show with JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey coming up next.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio. The Publix Tailgate Show rolls along. 1 o'clock, the kickoff time today for the Jaguars and the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. Busy week ahead at Daly's Place here in Jacksonville. September 12th, Deep Purple and Judas Priest. The next night, Dierks Bentley. And then September 14th, Sting and Shaggy, the kickoff concert series ahead of the Jags and the Patriots coming up next Sunday here at TIAA Bank Field. Tickets at dailysplace.com. We go back to the New Jersey Meadowlands and welcome back Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman, and welcome in for the first time Frank Frangie today. Hello, Frank. Good morning.
How's everybody? Good to talk to you guys. And by the way, are we doing fantasy like right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you know, Mike and JP, there's a championship to be defended here. I'm just saying. Not everybody's got that log. You've got a couple of them, don't you?
I do, back when the rules were fair.
Yeah, there's a championship to be defended. I just wanted to point that out. Good to talk to you guys.
Good to talk to you.
Frank,
Honestly, Frank, we were sitting here this morning. We could not remember who won last year.
Well, you know
Maybe
what?
that's why.
I'm here to clear that up for you, Mike. That's why I'm here.
Well, Frank, what's the guy who gave you all the picks? What's it so we can congratulate him for winning?
He's a behind-the-scenes worker is what he is.
I thought Frank was stalling for a minute, Tony, until he got his text
Yeah.
message in this morning.
Yeah, you know, I might have had to send out look for a little intel. That might have happened earlier.
How about if
today.
we take away all electronic devices and all notes from Frank? And see how he
You
does?
would never do anything anymore, Tony.
Please don't do that. I need all the help I can get right now. These new rules are killing
We're
me.
all bitter about a championship, Logs.
New rules that they've been in place for a year now, Jeff. But we'll review them for Tony.
And they'll be new until I win.
All right. Well, good point. All right. The trick is that we added last year. You can use any player you like, but you can only use them one time all season long. And only one person can use that player in any given week. JP's going to have the first pick. He earned it with his last place finish. We'll call it a 5th place finish last year. And,
Fourth runner-up.
So whoever JP takes, none of us can take that player this week, but he can't use that player again for the rest of the season.
So what's the order now we're going in?
It's going to be JP first, then Tony Baselli.
I thought I beat Jeff last year.
No, you didn't.
No, Jeff Lageman, and myself and Frank. We'll wrap it up, and then we take a quarterback, a running back, and either a wide receiver or a tight end, a pass catcher. So only 3 picks
I hate this.
needed to be made.
Gosh, I hate this.
All right, see if you can defend your 4th place finish. JP, you get to lead us off.
I'm going to take Drew Brees against the Buccaneers today in the Superdome.
All right, Drew Brees. Tony.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is where he's going to go. Jeff Lageman.
I will take Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Never a bad
A lot of superstars
choice.
off the board early.
Yeah, I'm going to add another. I'm going to go Alvin Kamara. And
But I mean, the thing is, if you take the best players week 1, they're done for the rest of the year.
They are. But you know
somebody
what?
used that theory last year and might just be holding the
Right,
trophy,
and
just saying.
sometimes those best players get hurt in week 3, so it's good to get them in when you
That's
can.
a good point, yeah.
Frank, you got back-to-back picks here. Defending champion, Frank Frangie.
Man, when you win, it takes forever to get to your pick. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers and DeAndre Hopkins, if you don't mind, Mike.
Rodgers and Hopkins. All right, that's back to me. I'm going to go, let's see, go big or go home here. I'm going to go with A.J. Green going up against that Indy so-called defense today. Jeff.
I will take Tom Brady.
Tom Brady goes with Todd Gurley. Tony, need a quarterback or a pass catcher here?
Michael Thomas from the Saints.
Michael Thomas. So we're loading up on the
A lot of
Saints
today.
JP, you got Breeze. You need a running back and a wide receiver.
Give me Antonio Brown.
A B and a running back.
And give me – I'm going to go deep here. No, I'm not. Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. All right. I was wondering when you're going to get a Jaguar, and JP's usually loyal to the cause. Tony, need your quarterback here.
I'm going to go Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. All right. By the way, Giants gave up tons of fantasy points to the quarterback position last year. Let's see.
I know. No pass rusher. Questionable secondary.
Right, no Olivier Vernon today. Absolutely.
It's a big day. I see 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns from Blake.
Beautiful. Jeff, your wide receiver.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. That would have been mine if I didn't go with A.J. Green. But I did go with A.J. Green, and I'm going to double up and take Andy Dalton at quarterback.
Ooh, yeah, that's a do-or-die situation right there,
for the
Mike.
Bengals, and then Frank need a running back from you.
Hang on, let me move my Lombardi trophy out of the way to see this. I'm going to go Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon it is. All right, so we've got JP's got Breeze, Fournette, and Antonio Brown. Apparently he didn't check the weather forecast in Cleveland today.
It's okay.
Torrential rains all day long. Tony's got Blake Bortles, Dalvin Cook, and Michael Thomas. Jeff will lead off with Tom Brady, Todd Gurley, and Keenan Allen. I will run Andy Dalton, Alvin Kamara, and A.J. Green out there, and the defending champion Frank Frangie has Aaron Rodgers, Melvin Gordon, and DeAndre Hopkins.
You know the one good thing, Mike, that makes me feel confident that I won't be last place? Is that JP Shadrick is picking.
Wow. That's great. Get out of here. Tony Vaselli is gone. Jeff Lageman out of here as well. The fantasy picks are in. We visit now a little longer with play-by-play man Frank Frangie from the New Jersey Meadowlands. Not too far down the road from the hometown of the man singing this song. Frank, what's up?
How are you, boys? It's great to be up here. Enjoyed New Jersey last night. Weather a little cooler today, by the way. It was in the 50s when we woke up. Probably high 50s, low 60s. A little bit dreary today, but it's a football weather, and I'm looking forward to it, JP.
Wow. Opening day. We heard from Calais Campbell about starting fast. We heard from Telvin Smith about the excitement of opening day, and the guys on offense are ready to show what they can do. I mean, this is a group that seems like they are ready to go out and get some business done, and it starts this week.
You know, JP, and we talked about this with you guys throughout the preseason, right? And we've all talked about it on our weekly and daily shows. The whole storyline is this team has not gone into a season with expectations like this, internal and external. They have not had to do it. And we've talked about how they will handle it. Well, today's chapter 1, right? How they handle this, how they handle people expecting them to be good. If they get behind, a team that's expected to be bad is used to being behind. A team that's expected to be good, do they start thinking, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be behind, we're supposed to be good. How do we handle this? That, to me, is the big storyline. We've talked about it all preseason, and I can't wait to see the way it unfolds today.
You know, Frank, I heard a stat recently that the first-half point differential has been the best indicator of success the last couple of years. The two teams that led in it each of the last 2 years met in the Super Bowl that season, Atlanta, New England, and the New England and Philadelphia. For the Jags, then that means maybe being a little bit more aggressive in first halves of games. We saw them take the air out of the ball in New England and not go for it in the final minute in the AFC Championship game. Given the chance in a similar scenario, do you think they're going to cut Blake Bortles loose this year?
Yeah, I do, and that's a great stat, by the way, Mike. I didn't know that till you just read that, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Teams playing uphill don't do as well.
That's right.
In the second half, you're playing uphill. It's a great stat. I didn't think that. Yeah, I do think that. I think there's confidence. Now look, he hasn't been spent a lot of time with these receivers. The one receiver who he spent a lot of time with, Marquise Lee, is out. So it's new guys. Moncrief's new to him. Safarian Jenkins is new to him. Cole and Westbrook and Chark are still new to the league, right? So there's not a lot of guys out there he spent a lot of time with, but I do think there's a renewed confidence in Blake. I think there's a renewed confidence across the team, across the offense, and that makes everybody a little more aggressive. So, yes, I think given a similar situation, I don't think the Jags are going to play close to the vest. I still think, Mike, they're a running team. They're going to play defense, and they're going to run the ball, and they're going to make their field goals, and I still think that's how they're built, and you can't get away from your identity, but I think you can maintain your identity and be a little more aggressive, and I think they will, yes.
How many sacks today for the Jaguars defense?
You know, I think they get some. I don't know if it's 2 or 5, JP, but I think they get a few sacks today. I think I love the matchup of Ngakoue and Solder just went against each other, didn't they? So I like that matchup. I think the Giants' line is better than it's been, but I still don't think it's good. John Jalapeno, the former Gators, their center, he's just okay. Will Hernandez is a rookie playing the left guard spot. I think the Jags wreak some havoc. I think the Jags really, really win that battle, D-line versus O-line. That may be the best matchup for the Jaguars today. So, yeah, I think there's some. You want a number? How about 4? How's 4 for a number?
4?
Yeah, how's 4?
Wow, I thought you were going to go big.
I think 4.
7.3. Frank, I know one thing they spent some time on is trying to improve the special teams. Coverage units in particular, assigned some guys strictly to play special teams this year. Do we have a sense if that's been successful? It's hard to tell in the preseason, I think.
It is hard to tell. Remember, we saw a touch of that last year, Mike, with Laurenti McCray was brought here just to be a special teams guy. There were other guys last year, so we saw a touch of that. I'll say this. This guy, Joe DeCamillis, is really good. Like, really good. He is. I mean, we've seen enough special teams coaches come through this league. He has a real keen idea of what he wants to do. He inspires his guys. He makes it important to them to play special teams, and that Doug Marrone has a lot to do with that as well. I think the special teams play will be very good, though the X factor that we don't know is there's a rookie punter, right? Logan Cook looked very good in the preseason, hit a couple bad ones, but for the most part looked very good. But I think special teams, I like the return guys. I like what they've done. I like the fact that they had competition right to the very end between Mickens and Westbrook. With regard to punt returners, there's different things you can do now with your kick returns and your kickoffs because of all the new rules. But to your question, I think the new guys will make a difference, and I think the special teams will be very good.
Yeah, Joe D, definitely a no-nonsense, straightforward approach. Remember, he started way back under Dan Reeves, so that's where that begins. And it continues today. He's in the family as well. Frank, have a great call today.
Okay, boys, looking forward to it. Take care.
Frank Frangie from New York. East Rutherford, New Jersey. MetLife Stadium is the site right across the river for today's Week 1 matchup, the Jaguars and the Giants. We'll return with Jags Director of Player Development Marcus Pollard, plus A.J. Boye visits with Ashlyn Sullivan off the practice field this week. Jaguars-Giants at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brooks offers rehabilitation services such as inpatient care, outpatient therapy, skilled nursing, home health, assisted living, and memory care. They also have a wide range of community programs, as well as a comprehensive pediatric program. Brooks offers high-quality care from their expert clinical team to help you meet your rehabilitation goals. To learn more, visit brooksrehab.org. That's brooksrehab.org.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne-cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio. We're at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. It's NFL Week 1. The Jags and the Giants coming up at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We head there now and welcome in Marcus Pollard, former NFL tight end and Jaguars Director of Player Development and Youth Football. Good morning, Marcus.
Holding it down.
Yes, you always do. What's up in New York? How was Jersey last night?
Listen, I went to bed. I was out. I'm catching up on all the rest possible. So I didn't get to see any of New York, New Jersey. I saw the back of my eyelids all morning. But I tell you one thing. I'm not a weatherman, but it's cold up here.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because it's hotter everywhere else in the country.
Hot everywhere.
Right now.
Apparently, it's been hot all summer up until today.
Today's
so
the
we
day.
brought the cold weather.
Okay, that's not a bad thing, I guess.
Bringing a chill to the Giants' opening day hopes.
I like that. Yeah,
right there, huh?
That's a good storyteller there, Marcus. Did you have any opening week superstitions, changes, things you did differently as a player, or was it just business as usual for you each year?
Yeah, just business as usual. I had 3 songs that I always listened to before every game. I probably did that for about 10 years.
What were they?
One was Puff Daddy made a song about Biggie, and I thought about my grandfather. And Phil Collins, I Can Feel It Coming in the Edge of Night. And what was the other one?
Uh-oh.
It was R. Kelly. The greatest ever, the world's greatest.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I'm the world's greatest. When he made it about Ali.
Yes.
You remember
yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to sing it again. I'm not going to sing it again. I gave you all you're going to get from the singing aspect of my career, though. But that's about it. But those are 3 songs I did every game for about 10 to 12 years.
All right, tight end. It's coming, the tight end question. But we're going to swing it around to the Giants. How much trouble are the Jags going to have with Evan Ingram today, Marcus?
Talented guy. But I think our linebackers and safeties are definitely up for the challenge. Having gone against some of our tight ends in training camp and in practice, I'm sure they're up for it. But, with a quarterback, if he gets time with Eli Manning, it could be a good matchup. It'll be interesting to see. That's probably the second matchup to watch next to 13 and 20 today.
Yeah, do you think 20 is going to follow 13 today, Ramsey on Beckham? Or
I like to think if he go to the bathroom, I think Jalen's going.
Okay. Might be a little aggressive, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I think we don't like to see that.
We don't want to see that. If he go get popcorn, Jalen's going, hey, what kind of seasoned salt you want on your popcorn, bro?
Right.
He's going wherever 13 goes, I think Jalen will follow him in the target.
You do think they're going to utilize him that way then?
I definitely do. Even if he lines up in the slot, I think Jalen's going to follow him.
Wow, yeah, because that's where Beckham has made some noise there in the slot the last few years when he's been out there.
And Jalen can play that will-type linebacker where he can come up and make tackles and set the edge and that kind of stuff. So it's nothing that is foreign to him.
All right, high school coach of the week, the eagerly anticipated, and we can finally take it out of the oven now.
Yeah,
right?
We've been cooking for a while, but we can definitely take it out today. So week 1, CSX High School Player of the Week goes to Tavarius Johnson, senior at Fletcher High School, rushed for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. I called coach and asked him. He's a very hard worker, had to battle back from some injuries, loves the weight room, and is a great leader and great student. We also, week 1, Whataburger High School Coach of the Week goes to Brian Braddock down in St. Augustine, Florida. A pursuit of excellence, developing young players to have and love, serve each other and their community. He wants to have the best public program in the state of Florida. Asking what his goals were for his players, he said 40 and 40 rule. 4 years of high school will change the next 40 years of your life. So that is very commendable for those 2 people. Excited about what they're going to bring to First Coast football the rest of the season.
Very nice. The player and coach of the week, what do they get, Marcus?
They will get the high school coach of the week will get $1,600 for his program and also get entered into the coach of the year where he can make another $3,000 for his program. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Very good. There you have it. High school coach of the week and player of the week. Marcus, Enjoy New York. Yeah, holding it down at MetLife Stadium today. And singing R. Kelly, apparently.
And Lil R. Kelly, the world's greatest. Yeah.
Well,
that's how I felt about myself back in the day. I was the world's greatest.
We'll see what you bring for us next week here in studio when the Jags
love it.
face the Patriots. See you, Marcus.
Yeah. Okay, see
Marcus Pollard in New York. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. All the talk this week has been about Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr., but don't forget about second-team All-Pro A.J. Boye on the other side. Jaguars.com reporter Ashlyn Sullivan caught up with him coming off the practice field this week.
Ashlyn Sullivan and A.J. Boye here at the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex. A.J., opening week, we've heard all the hype about Odell Beckham Jr. and that Giants offense, but we've heard no chirping from you. Are you excited about week one?
Yeah, most definitely. Plan is just to go make plays as usual. Just another game week. Got to stay focused. That's the main thing. Can't worry about what everybody else is doing.
The night before the game, team hotel, what are you doing? Are you thinking about the game and the game plan, or are you trying to distract yourself?
I'm already playing the game in my head. I like to visualize certain stuff I'm going to see the night before. That's one thing that I picked up on, and just making me sure I'm focused, and so that everything that I see on the field, I've seen it once before.
Your little girl, Zoe, she's real cute. Are you able to FaceTime her or see her before games?
Yeah, most of the time. If it's an early game, I usually don't get to, but home games, I wake up early in the morning, drive home, just play with her. That's usually the only thing that gets me off, my mind off the game.
Right.
So.
And before this season, has she made any picks? I'm sure she's a fan of her dad, but what is she watching the games?
Oh, she watches the game. She does the same thing with my cousin. Like, if she sees basketball, she already assumes my cousin's playing. She sees football, she already assumes I'm playing, but she's been begging for a cheerleading uniform, so I got her one. She wants to wear that more than the jersey, so I'm excited, especially for next week's home game. But I know she'll be watching this week.
So she thinks every player is
yeah,
dad.
Definitely.
Trey Herndon, undrafted free agent out of Vanderbilt, has made the 53-man roster. I know you carry with you the undrafted free agent. Have you talked to him at all about that?
No, not yet. I just told him he earned everything. Don't let people think he didn't earn it. Being undrafted, there's always going to be that stigma on you. They're not going to give you any credit, but you can't focus on that. You just got to keep putting your head down and making plays.
Built by UCF.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk much about it because I'm a Gator, but they're the number one team in the state right now.
Of course.
Are you proud of their success?
Yes, definitely. It's been expected. We've been winning like that for a long time. It's just, I guess we got to talk more to get some credit. So that just shows some people don't watch the games. So.
All right, thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
There's Ashlyn Sullivan with A.J. Boye. That interview available on Jaguars.com. And, that's kind of been the forgotten guy this week with all the talk about Jalen and Odell and all this. Guess what? There's another All-Pro on the other side. They brought in DJ Hayden to play nickel as well, a guy, and they paid him a little bit of money to do that in free agency. Oh, and there are safeties on this field, too, that are very, very talented. Tashawn Gibson probably should have gone to the Pro Bowl last year. He has in his past. And Barry Church, a good, solid, strong veteran in this league who put up some big plays last year. So they have a full secondary. It's not just number 20. Now, he's the kingpin of the whole thing. If you don't have 20, then it changes a lot. But A.J. Boye there can hold his own. There's no doubt.
Look, I think he had the best season of any cornerback in the National Football League last year. Just look at the numbers in terms of completion percent. Overall, best of any corner, including Jalen Ramsey. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't take Jalen, because I think Jalen's ceiling is as high as any cornerback we've seen in a long time in the National Football League. But in terms of actual production, the 6 interceptions, all the pass breakups, the quarterback rating, when you throw against A.J. Boye, you were better dropping back and throwing it straight out of bounds. You would have had a higher quarterback rating if you did that every single time, literally, than if you threw it at A.J. Boye last year. That's how good he was, and it was by a significant margin. So it's not just the secondary, though, JP. You go through this roster on defense, and you go, oh, yeah, we got Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue on the line. What about Malik Jackson? What about Marcel Darius? What about Dante Fowler? I mean, on and on and on. Who is the 8th or 9th best player on this defense? They might be the 2nd or 3rd best player on some defenses around the National Football League.
Yeah, it's a deep group, and it starts at the top. But they have guys behind that can play as well, and it's fun to watch. Another thing, earlier this week on Jaguars.com, we have the Jaguars Happy Hour program now. It's new. Mike, I know you've checked it out, Jaguars.com, all that. So on Wednesdays, John Ozier and I have our deep tracks where we kind of pick a deep guy to watch on the roster or something like that, something deep in the football game. Well, this week it's tough because it's the first time out. So I went deep and picked Miles Jack this week, starting linebacker. But for me, I'm interested to see how he transitions to being the starting middle linebacker. It's really the start of the rest of his career, if you think about it like that, because he's going to be this guy for hopefully the next 10 years at least around here. And how does he get him in and out? How does he handle this alpha dog defense? I think that's a big story at least early in the season.
Absolutely, and he's one of the guys. I saw a national writer predict that Miles Jack would win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Look, again, you go as deep as you want to, start naming starters on this defense, JP. In any given week, they could be a Defensive Player of the Year in the National Football or a Defensive Player of the Week in the National Football League. You wouldn't bat an eye. I mean, Miles Jack has crazy playmaking ability, but you're right. Down in, down out. What is he going to provide you against the run in terms of leadership, getting everybody lined up? There's no safety blanket this time. There's no trap door. You can't go back to Paul Posluszny. There's no other option. This is your guy, and you got to go forward with him.
Though I bet Paul's still in pretty good shape.
He probably is, but I would imagine he will always be in great shape. But that ship, I believe, has sailed.
It most likely has. There you have it. All right, we'll come back. The second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show right around the corner. We'll have top headlines. You'll a little later today hear from Barry Church, Jaguars safety, speaking of that secondary. And we'll get into the trenches. Pat Flaherty is the offensive line coach. He'll break down his starting five for week one. And, he's going back to New York as well. He was with the Giants under Tom Coughlin. Jags-Giants at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
At Farah & Farah, our philosophy can be boiled down to one word: respect. Respect for every client regardless of who they are or the size of their case. Respect for innocent victims, and respect for the law. So when the insurance company thinks they can bully you instead of paying a claim, we respectfully disagree. If you're hurt, call Farah & Farah. We'll help you get the respect you deserve. Call 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
As a business owner, nothing compares to the sense of pride you feel when unlocking your business first thing in the morning. In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if the business down the street has the same insurance you do. What matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call Insurance Office of America today, 1-800-243-6899. Property insurance is not available in the state of Florida from Auto Owners Insurance. Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, Tide 46 to 50-ounce laundry detergent is on sale for $5.99.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. This September, try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
Some things make a house your home. Like clean, fresh sheets that make a bed with the soothing scent of fabric softener your thing. When drying clothes with natural gas, you get faster, gentler drying times, save money, and earn a rebate up to $150. Your home. our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
I'm Tony Smith with your 1010XL local sports update. Death taxes and the Florida Gators beating the Kentucky Wildcats in football. Two of those still sure things after Kentucky breaks through. A 31-year losing streak came to an end last night against the Florida Gators as Kentucky gets the 27-16 win in the Swamp. Kentucky rushed for 303 yards, 175 of that on the ground from their star running back Benny Snell. Got another 105 on the ground from dual threat quarterback Terry Wilson, who accounted for all 3 Kentucky touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. For the Gators, Felipe Franks was 17 of 38 throwing the ball. Wound up as the Gators' leading rusher on the night, picking up just 44 yards on 11 carries. Elsewhere in the state, Florida State trailed throughout most of the game, finally pulling out ahead of Stanford for the first time when Trey McQuitty hauled in a 5-yard pass from DeAndre Francois with just 4:03 remaining in the contest. Willie Taggart picks up his first win as the Noles head coach, 36-26 over Samford. I'm Tony Smith. This has been your 1010XL local sports update. More of the Publix Tailgate Show with JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey coming up next.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HannanyAutos.com studio. 1 o'clock, the kickoff time for the Jaguars and the Giants at MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Today, the 7th all-time meeting between these franchises in the regular season, and it's even Steven.
You know it.
3-3. Somebody's going to take the lead today.
Yeah, Jags got to get that road win against them.
Got to get it going.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be nice to do today and start the regular season the right way. A little cool, a little wet in New York today to open up the regular season, but here it is. I mean, finally, you got a feeling, though, obviously, you want to win the first game, win every game you play, but week 1, on the road, New York, a team that won 3 games, last year, but they have playmakers around. But then you come back home and you got the goat staring at you in Tom Brady coming into TIAA Bank Field next week for the revenge game and all that stuff. So you got to win this game, right?
Goat v. Boat next week, by the way. The best of all time, Blake Bortles, as he's been dubbed by Jaguars Twitter. Look.
You don't want to come back 0-1 to face Brady.
You know what? Regardless of who your opponent is next week, they should win this football game today, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're
if they are the
team
that we think they are,
right.
If they are a true contender, they should go up to New York and beat a team that went 3-13 last year. And granted, I get it. You get Odell Beckham back. You add Saquon Barkley. You revamp your offensive line. You switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense. Add some pieces on that side. Everybody's constantly changing in the National Football League, but I don't think the Jags rested on their laurels. I think they feel like they've improved as well. And when you just line them up man for man, JP, you'd take a lot more Jaguars in the starting 22, I think, than you would New York Giants in the starting 22 if you combine the teams. So, look, forget looking ahead. Just win this game because you're quite capable of going in there and punching them in the mouth, much like last year with the Houston Texans. Just open up and play your style of football as best you can. I don't think they're worried at all about who's coming into TIAA Bank Field next week.
Let's get to today's top stories and start off with Tom Coughlin's return to New York. He's not going to make much of it, but publicly at least, but he is in the Giants Ring of Honor. He won 2 Super Bowls as the head coach, another as an assistant coach way back in New York, and he's a big piece of – he's on the Rushmore of the New York Football Giants. He also started this organization. He's back with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the way things ended in New York, TC wants to get it done today.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, there was talk, in fact, that – when he left, was ousted, however you want to look at it, he might end up the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, but if he was going to do so, he wanted to bring his coaching staff with him, and some people feel like that's why they made sure they elevated Ben McAdoo to the head coaching position so they couldn't lose him and what they thought was a developing offense. Well, he's gone now, and Pat Shurmur takes over, the former offense coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, so that certainly fell on its face. But, look, we look back now, people wonder, why did the Jaguars ever get rid of Tom Coughlin to begin with? Well, sometimes coaches kind of wear out. The message wears out, and it stops getting through to the same group of players. And in hindsight, you look back and say, this guy's a Hall of Fame coach. You never should have gotten rid of him. But if you remember the time in the moment, it made more sense. And the Giants rode this wave with Tom Coughlin for a number of years, JP. I mean, winning Super Bowls sometimes was what kept him in the job.
He was on the hot seat.
But you think about it, compared to what he did in Jacksonville, which was tremendous, he won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants against head-to-head Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So you'd think they would have extended him every opportunity. And maybe from their standpoint, they think that they have. Doesn't matter now. I don't think it's any extra motivation for the players when they go out there today. I think a much bigger factor is the fact that another guy who has Jaguar ties because they pursued him in free agency, Olivier Vernon, won't be suiting up with a high ankle sprain. He is the deep top pass rusher by a wide margin for this Giants football team. That is a major blow for them taking on this Jaguar team today.
And Doug Marrone was asked about Coughlin's return this week, because Tom Coughlin's not available every week to the media, but it turned into Marrone's story going back to his hometown.
I'm born right across the river. I mean, it's not emotional for me. I don't know. I really can't answer that question. I never talk. No, it's a pain in the ass. Everyone wants tickets. They want sideline passes, and no, I don't see anyone when I go up there. And most of them are Giant fans.
There's Doug Marrone. He's always good for a quip or two going back to New York today. Opening week, Jaguars defense looking to prove that they're not a one-year wonder on the defensive side of the ball. Nobody really thinks they are. Malik Jackson knows what this week means for this defensive unit.
I mean, for you to show, all the hard work you've been doing. Some people are going to say we did a lot of hard work in the show. Some people are going to say, we need to try again. So hopefully we're not the team that says try again. We're one of the hardest working teams over the offseason, and I think we go out there and prove it. But we do have a good quarterback, a good set of skilled people on that team, and a good defense. So, like I said, it's a great challenge, and I think we'll be up for it.
Windows open for this defense, and especially this year with all of that money up front on the defensive line. You get a feeling with the salary cap ramifications of that in a year or so that you're going to be saying goodbye to one of the big fellows up front because of that big salary. If it's Malik, don't know. If it's Marcel Darius, if it's Calais, whatever it turns out to be, and that could change with injury. Who knows what happens, but this is the time. The window's open right now for this defense.
The windows are short in the National Football League. I said it down the stretch last year. Don't just take it for granted and say, hey, this is fun. No. If you get in and you got a chance, capitalize when you have that chance, because you don't know when that chance is going to come around again. How many times have we heard the story about Dan Marino, made the Super Bowl in his second season in Miami, never made it back. He thought, I'll be back here plenty of times. And you never made it back. Now, the Jags haven't made it to the Super Bowl, but like you said, that Super Bowl, that championship window is there. You've got to take advantage. This defense talked about doing better in situational football and on third down this season. And in other words, when you got to have the stop, JP, you got to get the stop. You got to get the Giants off the field late in the football game or any other opponent. You got to come up big in those third and longs. You can't let them convert like New England did on a 3rd and 18, which was a backbreaker in the playoff game. So we'll find out if all that – look, we don't expect them to knock down every pass and intercept every ball. And I don't certainly. They're going to give up some plays. Do they make the plays when it matters most? I think will be the telling point for this defense.
Of course, yeah, the Jaguars in that AFC Championship game, as you mentioned last year. Quarterback Blake Bortles and this team wants to get back and beyond this year, of course, to the Super Bowl. But for number 5, it's one step at a time.
We can't look to that AFC Championship game and say, wait till we get there and we change what happened. We got to take every day, every week, every meeting of preparation as seriously as possible, and the rest will take care of itself, and we'll end up back there again.
Yeah, 1 week. Take care of the New York Giants this week and then move on from there. Hey, this portion of the Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. We'll return with Lamb at Large. David Lamb is in the studio today. He'll join us for his thoughts about the opener and much more. Offensive line coach Pat Flaherty tells us what to expect from each starter entering Week 1 as well. The Jags and the Giants kick it off at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
This is the Pepsi that your father drank and your grandfather drank.
When I was your age, we were.
This is the Pepsi that your Uncle Ted drank when rock sounded like this. This is the Pepsi for American pastimes. Whether you're tailgating at a speedway or courtside watching your favorite player make a breakaway, he scores! This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Hi, this is Tony Baselli. It's no secret that I love the sandwiches at Daly's Dash. But there's one sandwich that stands above the rest of them, and it keeps me coming back over and over again. It's called the Boss. They pile that bad boy with lots of roast beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions, and of course some Dash sauce. Which, as much as I travel during football season, this sandwich is one more thing that makes me eager to get back to Jacksonville. I could eat the Boss every day. Daly's, a local Jacksonville company. It's nicer here.
On airport parking at Jacksonville International Airport will help punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Their garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are just one 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking rates are salary capped at $5 a day. Extra points for free shuttle service to and from the airport. To learn how on-airport parking options tackle the competition, visit flyjacks.com. That's flyjacks.com.
Looking to tailgate your dream RV this football season? Visit Campers Inn RV and shop their huge selection of fifth wheels, motorhomes, and travel trailers from the top manufacturers. Plus, with their integrity pricing guarantee, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. As a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. Visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win. First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers. Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Stein Mart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Stein Mart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
If you've ever been in a vehicle crash, then you know the impact caused by a collision. Now imagine the force of a crash so great, people are killed. My name is Eric. I sat behind the wheel and drove drunk. I caused a crash that killed 2 young women, Megan and Lisa. Now, I sit alone in my jail cell. Megan and Lisa were taken forever, and their families and friends were left devastated. Don't drink and drive, and remember our roadways are connected to our families.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HannaniAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. It is week 1. The Jags and the Giants tee it up at 1 o'clock. Jaguars Radio Network coverage begins at noon with countdown to kickoff, and we'll take you all the way up to the opening kick as always. Each week, we visit with the guru. He's in studio again this week, David Lamb with Lamb at Large.
An exciting time. It's opening week. We're ready to play for real. And, any predictions we want to make, well, we got to make them today because after that, we just can't make them. You got to make them by today. So I'm here to make some Jaguars predictions.
Can't wait.
Now, all off season, my brain has bounced back and forth, east and west, north and south. One day I see them having a bad season. The next day I see them winning the Super Bowl. I'm going, what is going on? It's crazy, all the different possibilities this team has, more so than most teams, I think. There's no question they've got a roster. They can beat everybody on their schedule. When I look at it, I'm going, yeah, they can beat them and them and them. But then I look at it and say, but if certain things happen, they won't beat them, or them. I've had them anywhere from 6-10 to 14-2 in winning the Super Bowl. Well, I finally decided, let's cut right in the middle. I think the Jaguars go 10-6. I think they win the AFC South and make it to the playoffs. And after that, we'll wait till January to talk about that. But, this is the National Football League. It's a statement of parity, how half the teams that make the playoffs this year don't make it the next year. It's not uncommon to see teams go from last to first and vice versa from one season to the next in this league. So it is a tough league to win in. The average winning margin is a single digit. The majority of games are decided by one score, which means one play. So my point is it's awfully tough. Will Blake Bortles step up and improve his game a little bit? Will the Jaguars' defense be as good as last year? Will they avoid the injuries? Injuries are always the X factor. So I think they go 10-6. Now, the bad news is I think they lose today. I don't think they win in New York. I do think they come home. I think they get on a 3-game winning streak. I think that propels them to have a really good season. But this is where the schedule gets a little against them at the end of the season, 3 of the last 4 of the road. I can see them going 2-2 and taking a great season and turning it into just a good season. But I do think they make the playoffs. I do think we see Bortles play a little bit better. But today, hey, with Barkley coming in as their running back, with Beckham back, with the new coach, the enthusiasm, everything I read and listen to about New York, they're as excited up there about the Giants turning this thing around as the Jaguars are excited here about taking that next step, going from the AFC Championship game to the Super Bowl. So let's don't forget that. I think it's a tough call for the Jaguars. Anytime you're on the road in the National Football League, for some reason, it's tough. Jaguars are only one of 4 road teams, by the way, favored in opening week. So that says something what the boys in Vegas think about this game. But again, when you look at the odds for almost every game, what are they? 3, 3.5 points, 6, 6.5 points. That's how close this league is. And you could go, from the penthouse to the outhouse and vice versa in a hurry. I think everybody knows that. I think the Giants have an improvement on their season. They were 3-13 last year. They almost have to improve unless you're the Cleveland Browns. So 10-6, they win the South, and they will have their ups and downs, but still be a good season. And who knows, in January in the playoffs, we may look at them and say, hey, this team is going all the way. Time will tell.
There you have it. David Lamb with Lamb at Large. 10 wins, but not one today, huh, Dave?
I think they lose today and then come home. We've got 3 straight home games.
Yeah.
I can see a good home winning streak, going for them. So I'm looking for a good season.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to lose 6, they got to lose them somewhere, right?
Sure.
I've got them going 11-5. I think they will win today, but I don't think it's crazy to think that the Giants could win this football game.
No, I don't either.
I think if both teams play up to their capability, I think the Jags are the better roster. So, that's what I'm going with. And
the mystery thing today is we don't know about Barkley.
I think we do. I think we know he's a really good tailback.
Okay, but will he have this great breakout season? It's a few rookie running backs have done that, but will he struggle to adjust for a while at least? We don't know. I think Manning, who has been an average to slightly above average quarterback most of his career, getting Beckham back, and if Barkley is a good running back, I think that can get him back to that above average level of play for him. So anyway. Lost today, but a good season, generally speaking. I'm looking forward to next week when the Patriots come to town.
He's looking ahead. That's why he's got him losing, because he's not focused, JP.
Okay, but
you need to focus, Dave.
I know.
Season opener.
Tom Coughlin's mad at me about this, but I'm still looking ahead. I have a right to do that since I don't play.
You do.
What do you think? You think they win today?
I think they win. The Jags win today, yeah.
What about next week?
We'll worry about that next week.
There we go.
I'll be honest with you, though. Right, because I'm not looking ahead. I predicted them to go 11-5, but I did it without going game by game through the schedule. So I guarantee you, as I go throughout the season, if they play as I expect them to, I'm going to pick them on a weekly basis to be better than 11-5. So call out my hypocrisy right now if you must, because it's coming.
Well, I was trying to catch you by having you comment.
Not looking ahead, Dave.
Well, what about you, Jake? Not looking ahead.
No, week to week league, week to week.
I'm looking ahead because I can do that. I don't have to listen to Tom Coughlin or Doug Barone or J.P. Shadrick or Mike Dempsey.
You don't have to. I'm glad you do, though.
See you next week, Dave.
All right. Thank you,
David Lamb with Lamb at Large. Each week, we visit with Jaguars head team physician Kevin Kaplan from Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute.
Real football, they'll tee it up this week, finally.
Week 1 is exciting.
It is, right? I mean, the Jags and the Giants, the Big Apple, the whole thing, week 1. Some real football coming up means real routine, though, for everybody around the football team now. With the practices leading up to the week 1 game, the doctors are in the building certain times for the official team doctor. What is your schedule around the team?
It's nice at the end of preseason. We finally pare down and go. We used to go from 90 to like 70 to then 50, but now we keep everybody right to the end. So there's a lot of kind of logistical work that goes into the end of the preseason. So this first week is getting back into the regular routine. And I'm at the stadium quite a bit. I'm there Monday morning looking at guys. Obviously, knock on wood, we're pretty good end of the preseason, but seeing a few guys just to kind of do some fine tuning. And then Wednesday morning, I'm there as well, seeing guys that may have been injured in the practice during the week. And then Thursday afternoon, seeing any final guys to decide, who's probable, who's questionable. And there are a lot of things that, obviously you see those types of reports. That's where we make that determination. And then meet with Coach Coughlin and Coach Marone and Dave Caldwell, kind of go over, what I think who's in, who's out in terms of, from a medical standpoint, that is. So there's a lot of that routine that right at the beginning we kind of get rolling for the whole year.
That's the balance, right? Medical and football. Football wants guys available. Medical, a lot of times, can't let guys be available because of the medical issue, and that's kind of always not a fight, I guess, but a push and pull, a give and take a little bit.
It certainly is, and as physicians, I'm a fan. I mean, I obviously grew up in Jacksonville, so I've been a Jaguar fan from the beginning, and you want guys to get out there and play, but, I always have to take a step back. We're physicians first, and we're trying to maintain the health of our players. That's kind of prime number one. And certain injuries are, you just can't go with, and they can't play. And other injuries, you just got to weigh the risks and benefits, and I have a good rapport with our players to discuss, hey, this is the injury you have, and here's the risk, and and so you kind of go through that with a player, and there's a lot that goes into that decision. A lot of times you may hear or see, or the player's out, but there's been a lot that's gone into determining whether or not this is a high risk situation, and are we going to hurt the player in the short term and the long term. So players want to know that because it's their bodies and this is their vocation. It's how they make a living.
You're not only here, but you have practice as well. I mean, it's not like this is not your only job, the Jaguars.
Right,
I mean, you have some civilians that come to see you too,
That's
so
right.
you got to balance even that, right?
It's a tough balance, and thankfully I have a great staff around me and wonderful PA. Chris Garman's been with me for a long time now, and so he knows the routine, and I have a great staff that works around me throughout the week, keeping the practice going, and obviously, patients are my priority, whether it's on the football field or over at JOI and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, and so yeah, it's a big balance, and it's definitely busy, and obviously got to have the family life too, so it's a balance, and I love being here, and it's super exciting, especially after last year. So hopefully keep it rolling into this season.
All right, Doctor, we're expecting two things: a healthy plane coming back
Okay.
and a W.
Perfect. I hope I can deliver both.
We're counting on you.
That'll work.
See you next week.
All right.
There's Dr. Kevin Kaplan from Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the head team physician for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The offensive line for this team is all together this week. It's a group that produced last year. They had the number one run game, the least amount of sacks allowed in franchise history, but they still got an upgrade in free agency this year. And offensive line coach Pat Flaherty breaks all of those starters down in this interview. The Jags and the Giants, week one, for a guy like you who was in New York forever, it's got to be extra special this week, I'm sure.
Well, it's special because it's really our week one, and we're excited to see our offense in gear against a really good defense, and excited about having the five offensive linemen together for the first time, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Let's go through your starting five then, starting with Cam Robinson, the left tackle. There's a lot of focus on him in this preseason, working on things, some technical things. Where is he at opening day now in his second season?
Well, he's been working hard, so he, hopefully we see that he's going to be much better than what he was in some of the preseason games, and I expect him to be. This is one thing Cam has always shown since he's been here is he loves to play the game, and he knows that all the stakes step up. Everybody's going to play faster. Everybody's going to be going 100 mile an hour. So, he's got to get out there and utilize his technique, all right, more so than what he did in preseason.
Plus, we saw the difference with Andrew Norwell in the game preseason week 3 as opposed to out of it the first 2 weeks. He brings that just extra push and veteran presence and a lunch pail type of mentality, if you will, for the cliche there. But he's a guy that can really get it done at that left guard position.
Well, Andrew is, and he's, Andrew's, he was undrafted, and he started down, as we say, at the bottom of the totem pole and worked his way to where he is today. And one thing about him, he's never satisfied. He's very coachable. He wants to become better each and every day, and I still think he has room for improvement. We're excited to see him in that left guard.
He told me the other day that he feels a little bit behind just because of the injury and being out a little bit. Is he behind? Can you see where he is right now?
Well, we're trying to catch him up to everything. I think when you do miss some time as a player and you're accustomed to X amount of days working in preseason, when you're a good player, you do feel that. But we've been working extra with him to get him called up before Sunday.
Brandon Linder is the bell cow of the line, center. He missed the last couple weeks of the preseason with the knee issue, but he's back and ready to go. And what do you expect out of Linder this year?
It's good to see Brandon back there because he is he's a nucleus of the offensive line. He starts with everything with the communication. They all look up to him. In the meeting room, he's the same way. So, he looks like he's healthy and ready to go.
All right, right guard, A.J. Cann. There was a lot of questions at the start of camp about that position. Could there be a competition there? Well, that went away real quick when A.J. stepped out and had put together a fantastic camp. It's the fourth year for Cann, and where does he stand entering this season?
Well, you said a key word, it's a fourth year. When you get into your fourth year, and just like Cam Robinson, when he gets in it, you're going to see, you should see a different player. And that's what A.J., he's putting together his techniques both in run and pass. When they're young, they can put something together in one aspect of the game, but it's hard to do everything because there's so many things you have to do. And he's been working extremely hard, at his craft, both in the run and the pass protection.
All right, final thought here. Jeremy Parnell, right tackle. He brings that attitude and kind of what this offensive line wants to be with just his presence around the building and on game day. He's been battling through things to get back and ready to go. But what he's done for this football team to be ready to go opening day is a big deal.
Well, he's a young veteran, as I always tell him, because we don't use the word old. I'm the only old guy in our room. But JP, Jeremy comes into each and every day with a great attitude of, he's always in there, first guy in there watching film, watching tape of other players, players before him, players, younger players, and always ask questions about technique. And, he's not going to get beat because he's not working hard enough, that's for sure. But we expect a great year from Jeremy.
Thanks for your time. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Here's Pat Flaherty. Yeah, he didn't go there. The opening question asking him about going back to New York and facing his old football team. It's all about the Jaguars this week. That's expected. Pat Flaherty was in New York, though, for all those years with Tom Coughlin as the offensive line coach there. And by the way, they had some pretty good offensive lines in that time in New York. It's the starting five that was together at the beginning of training camp. They were together for the first couple of weeks of camp, but they haven't played in a game together. They had some nicks here or there. Norwell was out in the preseason some. Parnell was out in the preseason. Then Linder missed the last 2 games of the preseason. But there's a feeling that this group can show and pretty much go today. Once things get real, they're all out there. It's more of a veteran feel right now for this group.
Well, they've worked a lot together in practice, and I think, honestly, the ironic thing is the guy we thought was going to be thought of as the weak link, A.J. Cann, had one of the best off seasons of anyone on this football team. Had a terrific training camp by all accounts. And it was Cam Robinson that opened up some eyes with his struggles in preseason games, JP. And I think people were expecting him to take a big step forward in year 2. He still may, right? But A.J. Cann clearly has had a fire lit under him. The coaching staff and the analysts on this football team have really talked about how the new rule change has helped him so much. Keeping his head up has allowed him to get his weight further back. He'd get his weight too far out on the balls of his feet, and he'd lose his balance, and he's been much more balanced. He's been authoritative. He's been driving guys onto the second level in the run game. We've only seen glimpses of it, but I'm excited to see what that trio in the middle in particular can do for this running game. And what a test, even without Olivier Vernon on the edge. Damon Snacks Harrison. You got a nickname like Snacks, you're a big boy. And in terms of pure nose tackles, he's one of the best in the league, and moving him around and controlling him is going to be job one for that defensive or offensive line for the Jags.
Fun to watch the trenches today up front for this Jaguars football team. We'll return on the Publix Tailgate Show with safety Barry Church. He's seen the Giants a handful of times, well, more than a handful of times, twice a year throughout his entire career up until his move to the Jacksonville Jaguars when he was with the Dallas Cowboys, division rivals with the Giants, of course. Jags-Giants coming up in Week 1, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better convenience, so members can bank any way they want, whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 fee-free ATMs across North America. We believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $13.89 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Massage Envy announces their newest game changer, professionally assisted stretch. Increase mobility, flexibility, and blood flow. Add stretch to relaxing therapeutic massage sessions and you're game ready. Visit any of the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy locations in Bartram Park, Fleming Island, Harbor Village, Jacks Beach, Oakleaf, Ortega, and Southside. Text stretch to 82257 to receive a free 30-minute professionally assisted stretch offer when you purchase any massage session. Text the word stretch to 82257.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Attention Jags fans. This is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
I'm Tony Smith with your 1010XL 92.5 FM local sports update. Florida State trailed throughout most of their contest last night, finally pulling out ahead of Samford when Trey McQuitty hauled in a 5-yard touchdown pass from quarterback DeAndre Francois with just 4:03 remaining. Willie Taggart picking up his first win as the Noles head coach, 36-26. They get out ahead of Samford. Death taxes and the Florida Gators beating Kentucky in football. 2 of those still sure things. Kentucky breaks through after a 31-year losing streak against the Gators with a 27-16 win in the Swamp last night. Kentucky rushing for 303 yards, 175 from their star running back Benny Snell. We got another 105 on the ground from dual-threat quarterback Terry Wilson, who accounted for all 3 Kentucky touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. For the Gators, Felipe Franks, 17-38, throwing the ball, wound up as the Gators' leading rusher, which is never good news on the evening, picking up 44 yards on 11 carries. I'm Tony Smith. This has been your 1010XL local sports update. More of the Publix Tailgate Show with JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey coming up next.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
We're back. The Publix Tailgate Show rolls along. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jags and the Giants at MetLife Stadium today at 1 o'clock. And you know what? I'd take 303 rushing yards for the Jags today.
Yeah.
Just like Kentucky did.
I'll take 250.
Would you?
You know,
wow.
Let's be reasonable, JP.
Just take it easy on
right.
them. Okay. Let's get to the inactives today. They have been announced by the Jacksonville Jaguars Public Relations Department. Rashad Green, senior wide receiver, inactive for the game. And then you get in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Eli Anku, inactive, defensive lineman. Offensive lineman Chris Reed, Josh Walker, and Will Richardson Jr., all inactive. And then back on the defensive line, DeJuan Smoot and Michael Bennett inactive for the game today. So, hey, this is a healthy football team. Of course, Marquise Lee's done for the year, but of the 53 active players, Everybody was back at practice on Friday. Nobody was on the injury report at the end of the week. So that's
extremely rare.
Great news.
Right. Not to have anybody questionable for a game. So they're as healthy as they're going to be. And it's a shame for some of those defensive linemen who are inactive because Dante Fowler's going to come back and take a roster spot next week. And you wonder if, you had a chance to shine today, maybe you could secure your spot going forward. So we'll see where whose expense that comes at. Here's the Giants' inactive list. We've noted this already. Linebacker, pass rush specialist Olivier Vernon will not be suiting up. High ankle sprain. It's a big blow to the Giants today. Tay Davis, another linebacker, also inactive. Kyle Lauletta, the rookie quarterback, will not be playing today. Oh, and here you go. Your kid buys a ticket for opening day. Maybe the only chance to see Michael Jordan, but the cornerback is not in the lineup today for the Giants. Come on, MJ.
What are they doing up there?
Evan Brown and Spencer Pulley, a couple of reserve centers, will not be suiting up, and Cameron Moore, a backup safety, also inactive today. Lorenzo Carter, the rookie out of Georgia, will start for Olivier Vernon.
Yeah, no Michael Jordan today.
Not the same guy. We realize that.
Yes, we get it. There you have it.
Someone thinks I don't realize that. I just wanted to.
You're going to find that out on Twitter.
I probably already have.
Yeah. Barry Church, a guy who now entering his second season with the Jags, long career in Dallas before that, and he has quite a history against the New York Football Giants, too.
Oh, yeah. You just feel like when he's out there, he's a solid guy. He's seen it all. I think he's pretty good against pass, pretty good against the run. He's not the best safety in the league, but he's not a liability. He's a veteran, knows where to be. You don't worry about him making a lot of mental mistakes, things like that, JP. And, I mean, again, we talk about how many names do you list before you get to Barry Church. That's not a shot at Barry Church. He's a really good player to be maybe the 9th or 10th best starter on that side of the football.
And Doug Marrone calls him his voice of reason back there in a secondary, especially that's a lot of talking and a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he may not be chirping as much as some of the young bloods out there, but nevertheless, he lets his play do the talking. I mean, look, Rob Gronkowski knows all about it. Knocked him out with a shot in the AFC title game. So he can deliver the big hit. He can make plays in the passing game as well. And I don't know if that familiarity is going to help a whole lot with some new charges on the New York Giants side today, but he's certainly at home playing in that venue.
You caught up with Barry Church earlier this week.
Let's hear it. All right, we are brought to you by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Time for a conversation here with Barry Church, Jaguar safety, now an old veteran in this Jaguar locker room. Barry, welcome back to your second season. And how excited are you to put the all season behind and just kick this thing off?
I mean, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for all of us. I mean, we've been going against each other for a month now, and just banging against each other for this past month has been pretty hectic. So it's good to go against a different team, go against some different competition. And we're on defensive side of the ball. We're excited. I mean, we got going against one of the high-powered offenses in the league. They got explosive players at all positions, so it should be a challenge for us.
Yeah, let's take a look back at the way Doug Marrone tried to set the tone this offseason. Didn't want to look back at the way the last season ended. He said, hey, none of that helps us. We got to start at brick one and start laying that foundation again. Do you feel like from that point through now, you guys accomplished what you set out to do in the offseason?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, especially going through one of these camps, which are, they're pretty hard. Probably one of the hardest I've been in my career. But going through this camp and what we've done against our offense and what our offense has done against us, I mean, it's just iron sharpening iron out there. So I feel like we're getting better as a team, especially as a defensive unit. I feel like everybody knows the system pretty much hands down now. So hopefully we can limit, our explosive plays, which was kind of an Achilles for us last year. But if we can do those, I mean, the sky's the limit for this defense. So we just got to stay focused and, like Coach said, take it game by game.
I think you have the best secondary in the league, in my personal opinion. That is shared by a lot of people. I'm sure in that locker room it's shared as well. But you lose Aaron Colvin, but you add a couple of guys. DJ Hayden in free agency, Ronnie Harrison making a mark as a rookie, at least in the preseason. What are we getting with these guys being added to the roster?
Well, like you said, I mean, we lost a heck of a player in Colvin, who was our everyday nickel, and he was a great tackling corner and cover nickel. So what DJ Hayden's going to have to bring into this game is pretty much the same understanding of how we play our man-to-man coverages and our zone, and realize that the nickel is kind of like an extra linebacker out there for us, the way he feels in the run. So far, so good this camp he's been playing. He's been blitzing well, which is key for us at our nickel position, because we run a lot of blitzes out of that nickel package. And then with the addition of Ronnie Harrison, I mean, it's been great for us as a secondary, because we're able to do more looks, have a 3-safety package here, or take out one of the linebackers and play big nickel maybe, or something like that. So it's definitely exciting having both of those guys added to our defense, which was already stacked. So it's just, like I said before, the sky's the limit. We just got to make sure we put the work in on the field and get ready to roll.
It is stacked. I mean, fans, media, we look at your defense and we're like, this is staggering how many potential Pro Bowlers you have. Do you guys appreciate that level? Like, do you ever look around and go, we got Pro Bowl here, we got all pro there? I mean, it's pretty amazing what they've been able to put together.
Definitely from a safety perspective. I mean, I'm looking down in front of me. I see Calais Campbell over here, Yannick there. You got Miles Jack Telvin, and then outside you got the corners, and then my running mate Git beside me. I mean, it makes my job a heck of a lot easier. I'm getting all types of tips and overthrows, and quarterbacks don't have time to really go through their whole possession or progression because of our D line. So I mean, it all works together, but it definitely makes my job a lot easier.
Barry Church here with us. You mentioned the Giants offense. This unit hasn't really played together that much, though, right? Because OBJ missed so much time last year, so he hasn't worked with Evan Ingram that much. Barkley's new to the team. They got some new offensive linemen. How much of a challenge does that present when you try to figure out how they're going to attack you in week one?
It's definitely not only the players. I mean, they got a new coordinator too. So I mean, it's kind of hard to see how they're going to attack us. We know the guy; he's come from Minnesota, and we've went against their offense. We went against their offense, but we've watched a little bit of their offense and seen how they might try to attack us. But it's going to be tough, man. Like you said, those guys haven't played much together, but they're explosive all in their own right. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. But I think we have what it takes to go up there and try to get a W.
You've got a few years under your belt, but you're not an old guy by any means. You played very well last season. You still get butterflies on opening day?
Oh, no, there's no question about it. I mean, I get butterflies sometimes before practices. So just knowing going out there with my teammates, it's just anxiety's rolling. Your heart's beating fast. But after you get that first hit under your belt, that first, whichever one it is, hit on a pass or a pass breakup, whatever play you make, it kind of settles you down. And then you just go out there and play football. But the adrenaline will be pumping.
I tell you, I've covered this team for about 20 years, and I've rarely seen a season that fans have anticipated as much as this one. As we wrap up with you and you get ready to take on the Giants, what would be your message for the fans heading into 2018?
Just ready for a show. I mean, a lot of people were surprised by last year, but this year we're going to have a target painted on our backs, but I feel like we have what it takes to get to that next level. But like I said before, we got to work to do it, and we'll see you this season.
All right, Barry, go out and get the job done today. Thanks for a few minutes, buddy.
Appreciate it.
There's Barry Church. Get ready for a show, he says.
Why not?
Love it.
I'm ready.
Yes.
Told you this is like Avengers 4 to me. All the heroes come together. Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, Miles Jack, and on. They all assemble.
But
JP.
Not in Gotham because that's not part of
the
group.
Avengers Mansion is in New York as well.
Ownership,
Stark Tower, all that stuff.
I don't know the whole comic thing.
Yeah, well, it's close enough.
Okay, there you have it, Barry Church. Hey, let's go to Gotham, and it's time to welcome in Jags sideline reporter Rick Ballou, a segment we call Has Rick Lost It?
Ricky don't lose that. Ricky don't lose that.
Hi, yeah, listen to Donald Fagen right here out of New York, the late Walter Becker on guitar for Steely Dan, New York's own as well, and it's week 1 right here in the National Football League, and you can just feel the buzz. Tell you what, I've been here since 9 o'clock this morning, and the place was absolutely packed. You would not think that this is a 3-13 team a year ago. These fans have been here for a while, and they're ready to go. It was raining then. It is raining now. And I'll say this, has a chance because of that to be a sloppy game, and boy, I hope not, because Philadelphia on a Thursday night was just awful. I mean, what was that? NFL fans have waited 8 months, and then they're treated to a game that had 26 penalties, 236 penalty yards. The winner, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, had 232 total yards. And with the reviews, and they still don't know what a catch is and what a catch is not. And then the folks are infuriated around the NFL with the pass penalty, roughing the passer and things like that. So what are we going to get today? This is a game that we love. And you know what? I understand that we went through a long summer, and I'm not one of those guys that's going to, bite off the hand that does feed you, because I'm so blessed to be the sideline reporter. I'm so blessed to be here and be a part of this great game. But the NFL has a huge challenge right now. What are they going to do as far as separating, keeping this game safe compared to constantly throwing penalty flags? It seems like it's happening about once every single third play. Today, I think it comes down to running the ball. Here you have it. Fournette, you have Barkley. The Jaguars have their entire offensive line finally back intact for the first time this year even though the attention's going to be on Jalen and OBJ, guys, I think this game comes down with these conditions to a battle right there in the trenches. The Jaguars last year forced a ton of turnovers. They led the NFL with 33 takeaways. I think one of those to come up big today as well. And I think Jacksonville, for the first time ever, they're 0-3 here in New Jersey. I think for the first time in franchise history, Jags come in, get out with a 24-17 victory over the Giants.
That's good stuff. Rick Ballou, all it takes is 1 point to win the football game, and that's what they'll want today, week 1. Hey, we'll talk to you later. Rick Ballou with Has Rick Lost It from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We'll return on the Publix Tailgate Show. A visit with the Ozone. Jaguars.com senior writer John Ozier joins us live at MetLife Stadium. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli are standing by. They'll return with some final thoughts as well. Jaguars Radio Network coverage starts at noon with countdown to kickoff, and we're a little over an hour away from week 1, the Jags and the New York Football Giants, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. This September, try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
Only in Jacksonville can you tour a state-of-the-art hospitality show home before a game. Hi, this is Lauren Brooks. Make it a point to visit the Dreamfinders Home's newest stadium home before any home Jaguars game. Take a free tour and register for a chance to win amazing grand prizes. Dreamfinders Homes will select one winner per home game. Only at Dreamfinders Homes Stadium Home 2.0 by Gate 4 at TIAA Bank Field. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, Gillette and Venus razors and cartridges are on sale. $4 off, too.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
What do our Jags do to beat the heat? Cool down with the smooth and creamy deliciousness of a Yobi frozen yogurt. All Yobi low-fat or fat-free frozen yogurts are made with real milk, no artificial flavors, and some are as little as 25 calories per ounce. So it's easy for our guys to be game day ready. Plus, all Yobi's great toppings and fresh-cut fruit are included. So cool down like the big cats. Visit myyobi.com to find a location near you. And to see all the latest offers and tasty new flavors added every month, download the Yobi app. Yobi is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne-cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. The Jaguars and the Giants tee it up at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Remember to check out the new daily shows on Jaguars.com and Jaguars social media. Jags Drive Time, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. And Jaguars Happy Hour, Monday through Thursday, starting at 4 o'clock each day. They're available on the official team website, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars social media. The guy who makes all of that happen is the Ozone.
The Ozone.
At least that's what he'll lead you to believe. John Ozier, senior writer, joins us from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Good morning, Johnny O.
Hey, JP, is my intro music at least cooler than Baselli's?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Does Baselli even have?
Way cooler.
I mean, I got to have something. Close. He's sitting here. He's already on the show. He's already here. He's literally doused with bacon at this point. But, you know, it's fine. We're here.
Yeah, he already had bacon, sausage, eggs, everything else. Yeah, he can't even
That's
talk.
Not true.
He's so full.
That's not true. Actually, I got no headset right now, so can you even hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you guys.
Well,
so
that's
I can't
good.
Hear myself.
That's good.
It's perfect.
It's just a shame it doesn't work the other way.
Yeah. You wish you could. Right. You couldn't hear me.
Can
but I could hear
we
me.
rewire this to where we don't hear Baselli?
It's cold up here, JP. It's cold in New York.
Yeah,
it's
cold and
I
wet.
can't hear JP either. So if he's talking right now,
I can tell you, JP, it's a game in which I wish I had brought a light jacket.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because I think it was about 3 days ago they were darn near 100 degrees here.
Yeah, it was brutal. The U.S. Open was a heat stroke. I mean, it was bad. So
wow,
it's great here.
So, John, this is a relatively healthy football. It's actually a very healthy football team. The 53 active players, nobody was on the report Friday. So that's a good start.
The most boring in and out story. They're all healthy. Rashad Green's a scratch. There's 6 healthy linemen scratched. I don't think anything's a surprise. I don't anticipate writing that very much the rest of the season. It's not how it works. But for today, they're healthy.
Yeah, they can't ask for a better start than that. So what are you expecting from this offense today, John? I know it's a broad question, but is it going to be a pound the ball? Is it they're going to let Blake throw it around a little bit, or do they establish the run like Logs and Bo think they might?
Well, to me, that's the most intriguing question going in. I expect them to want to look like they did against the Falcons in Week 3 in the first half. Yes, they established the run. But what was intriguing about that was it felt like they were establishing the run and establishing the pass in the same way. And if you remember, they were getting the ball out to receivers in the passing game. They were using O'Shaughnessy in that fake one way, come back the other, throw to him about 7 yards downfield, hit the sidelines. It just seemed like they were trying to strain both edges of the defense with that two-back thing. To me, I think that's the way they want to play. And I think that's the way they'll try to play today. And if they do, I think they win.
And I don't think that the Giants' defense is very good personnel-wise, especially when they're missing Olivier Vernon. Alec Ogletree is a good player, middle linebacker. Landon Collins, good safety.
How fast are their linebackers, Jeff? I mean,
let me say this, John. I think the only good one that's playing today is Alec Ogletree. I mean, because when you turn on the tape and you watch Kareem Martin, who's the other outside linebacker from Olivier Vernon, he's stiff.
I think teams without speed at the linebacker position are really going to struggle against this Jaguars offense.
All the great 3-4 defenses, what do they have?
Good linebackers.
Great linebackers. I mean,
at least 4 of them.
Yeah, and they've got right now in today's game they've got one, B.J. Goodson. Do you know anything about him? No. And I didn't either. So watch the tape on him. I don't see anything.
Right.
Kareem Martin. You know anything about him? I didn't. I watched the tape on him. I don't see anything out of him.
Right. They really think they're a good interior running defense. They feel like their down linemen are good. They feel like Ogletree's good. But against this team, against the Jaguars, I think the Jaguars had the capability of stressing the edges enough to take that out of the equation.
Well, and I don't think they're great in the secondary either, and they're not going to be able to get a pass rush. And while the Jaguars are not known, be a pass-first team, obviously, I think there's opportunities because I think Blake's going to have plenty of time, and I think they can take advantage of that secondary where Janoris Jenkins is a good corner. Mm-hmm. Eli Apple had a terrible year last year. He's going to his third year.
And his teammates called him out multiple times.
That's right. I don't think they're great in the secondary.
But he's good enough to bounce back and be a good player, though.
Well, he's a first-round talent. We'll see.
But what tells you that, though, John, that he's good?
He was good as a rookie.
He was okay. He wasn't great.
Yeah, but up front, they've got some talent up front. Damon Harrison, the nose tackle, one of the better nose tackles in the game. Dalvin Tomlinson, an Alabama guy, second year. Last year he was a second-round pick in JP. I know you know him. He's a pretty good player. He's active, and then they've got a rookie playing the other defensive end / defensive tackle, and that's B.J. Hill, third-round pick out of NC State, and I thought he looked okay. Certainly better than most rookies as far as the physical talent that he has.
He's a good player, Jeff. I watched him quite a bit last year at NC State just because my son's there.
But he's young.
Young player, but he's a good player.
So, but definitely he's got some physical traits that make you go, yeah, he's got a chance to be good.
So, Jeff, JP, about 10 minutes ago, Baselli goes, oh, okay, Ozone, who you picking? I said, Jaguars 21-16 or so. He goes nuts on me, right? I said, well, what's your pick? He goes, well, Jaguars 24-14.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference, right? 4 points.
Well, what am I missing that's such a big difference?
It's
you
not,
want to know the big
Jeff.
difference is?
Yeah.
It's Tony. It's Baselli.
If it's 21-16 at the end of the game and the Giants have it, it's a less than a one-score game, and they can win it.
Okay.
If it's 24-14, it's a two-possession game, it's over. It's a huge difference.
Okay, so
that's left tackle logic right there.
My point is why do you feel so strongly that you're right and he's wrong?
Because I'm smarter than John, and that's been proven year in and year out.
Boy, I mean, can we get some help for this guy?
All right, JP.
Yeah, help, please. One final football thought here, guys, before we go away. Are they lining up to pass rush against Eric Flowers today like we talked about the other night?
Ngakoue?
Yeah.
If it were me, I would.
Think so. I wouldn't, Jeff, because Ngakoue, if you watch him, he's a much better rusher from the right end than the left end.
Totally agree. And I think last year you would say definitely so, but we also know that Ngakoue in the offseason went and talked to different guys. He definitely has more bags of tricks, so to speak. He's added to his repertoire as a left side rusher, and I think that the best matchup is your best player against their worst player, and that's putting Ngakoue against Eric Flowers. And now, because Nate Salter, I think, is a good football player.
Oh, I agree with you there. I think he is a good football player.
I mean, why would you put your best edge rusher, because you don't have Dante Fowler.
Fair enough.
Take your best guy and put him over against their worst guy, and I think that's what they should do. Will they do it? I don't know.
I think that what you will see is some of that 3 down with Ngakoue as that bounce-around guy running around, picking his spot, and trying to create confusion in that Giants front.
You guys both study pass rush. How much better fundamentally is Ngakoue now than he was at the end of last year? With the moves, the package, how much has he improved?
He's a fantastic player.
Very good player.
Guys, well done. Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman, John Ozier. We'll look for your writing coming up a little later today. That's it for the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll return with Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff is next. Pete Prisco, Fred Taylor, and the final word with head coach Doug Marrone. We're an hour away from kickoff in Week 1. The Jags and the Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is Jaguars Radio.
Does your small business internet provider promise a lot? Let's hear who really delivers. Comcast Business offers gig speed in more places and lets calls from any of your devices appear to come from your business number. Other providers don't. Call 1-800-501-6000 to get 75 megabit internet from Comcast Business for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you get 2 voice mobility lines. Offer ends 9/21/18. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. 2-year term required. Early termination fee applies. Require subscription and 2 Comcast Business voice mobility lines and additional regular monthly rates. Equipment tax and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Every 51 minutes, someone dies in a drunk driving crash. If you think it can't happen to you or that your actions won't affect others, think again. I got behind the wheel drunk and caused a crash that took the lives of 2 young women. Before you drink, have a plan and know all your options. One bad decision can last forever. Take it from me, Eric, prison inmate P22679.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. The official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Josh Lambo of the Jacksonville Jaguars alongside my dogs Lana and Wyatt.
It's hard saying goodbye to these two on game day, but that all changed this year with the NFL's first ever in-stadium dog park, thanks to our partnership with Pet Paradise. Are you ready to bring your furry friend to the stadium? Enter the Pet Paradise Top Dog Sweepstakes. Each week, 10 lucky winners will receive 2 game tickets, a parking pass, and the chance to bring your dog to Pet Paradise Park at TIAA Bank Field. Visit jaguars.com/petparadise and enter today.
Looking for a more comfortable way to camp or tailgate at Jags games? Visit Campers Inn RV for their integrity pricing guarantee. With their open and honest buying process, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. And as a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they want to thank you for your support. That's why they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. So visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
This is the Pepsi that gets you stuff. Crack one open, and you could get a Weber grill or an acoustic guitar. Because when you collect codes on specially marked Pepsi products, you'll get summer rewards from Pepsi Stuff. We'll even get you tickets to see Dierks Bentley.
I like the sound of that.
We do too, Dierks.
Grab the Pepsi, enter the codes, get the stuff.
Drink Pepsi, get stuff. Pepsi Stuff Rewards Program subject to official rules at PepsiStuff.com. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. All rewards subject to availability and may have limited quantities while supplies last.
It's going to be a great challenge, for our guys. I think Eli's a guy that he'll find the guys that are open. You're not going to really give him a lot that he hasn't seen before, and it's going to be a combination of everyone really playing well.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. Countdown to Kickoff. In the next hour, we'll bring you everything you need to know about today's game and the latest news from around the NFL. You'll hear from Jaguars great Fred Taylor, Pete Prisco, and Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the countdown started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
It is week 1 in the National Football League, and the Jacksonville Jaguars begin one of the most anticipated seasons in franchise history. Today, the Jags start at New York. The Jaguars and the New York Giants kick off the 2018 season today, an hour from right now. Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey. We're at the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, and the long off-season is finally over, and I hit the table for emphasis. Week 1 is here, finally.
It is, and all these storylines, Miles Jack wasn't down to Ramsey versus OBJ and everything in between, JP. We can shelve it all now because what matters is what happens for these 60 minutes of football over the course of the next 4 hours, because they don't kick it off until 1 o'clock. But you know what I'm saying here. There's so many great storylines with this football team. So talented, particularly on defense. They've upgraded, we think, at a couple of key positions as well. A guy like Andrew Norwell coming in, who they felt was worth the money to make him the highest paid guard in the league at the time he signed his contract, since been surpassed by Zach Martin of the Cowboys. But among the top guys, there's no excuses. They've got the pieces in place, even with the loss of Marquise Lee. You hope they're deep enough. They were able to overcome the loss of Allen Robinson in a different setting last year. At least they've had a couple of weeks to adjust, knowing that their presumptive top receiver is not going to be with them this year. But for a team that wants to run the ball as much as they do, they're going to rely more on Leonard Fournette, number 27, getting the job done. And I think if he stays healthy, he can have one of those 1,500-yard type breakout seasons at the running back position.
All right, cool and rainy morning, at least so far, in the New York, New Jersey metro area. We'll see how the weather fares today. Let's get to the top stories, though, for this game. We start off with Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr. Let's go back, rewind, if you will, about 5-6 weeks ago, at the start of training camp. Jalen Ramsey was asked then about meeting Odell Beckham in week 1, this game today.
I mean, let's get this out the way right now. He's a good receiver. We all know that. But y'all know me at the same time. If y'all think that, yeah, he good, but I'm good too. If y'all want to say he the best at his position, I'm the best at my position. So we're going to go at it. We're going to give the people a show. First game of the season. You're going to have some wins. I'm going to have some wins. I just plan on having more wins. That's the plan I'm going to go in there with. I'm going to work my ass off to get to that point where I can, like I just said, not let anybody down. And I'm sure he's doing that on the other side too. So that's what y'all asked for. You know what I'm saying? As fans of the game, as, you know, NFL, everybody, that's what y'all asked for. So we're gonna give it to you for sure. I know I am.
All right, that's 5 or 6 weeks ago, and we know what has transpired since then. The articles in GQ and ESPN, the magazine, the suspension by the football team for a week for his interaction with the media, let's say. And this week, Jalen Ramsey was at the podium and was asked about the matchup with Odell Beckham once again.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to beginning the season with the whole team. A lot of people going to try to make it about me and him specifically. That's not what it's about. Football's a team game. It's going to be 11 guys out there for us, 11 guys out there for them. So we're going to have to come together and do what we got to do to try to get a win. I'm going to try to do my part.
There was a feeling in that press conference. I was standing there when he said this week, and you could just tell as it went along. They kept trying to ask him about Odell and this. There was in his eyes and his mannerism that he just wanted to open up again. That's him. It's going to come at some point. That's not going to be Jalen the rest of the year. And he normally didn't talk a lot of, not for lack of a better term, trash before the game. Like, a lot of it is after and rehashing the previous week's game. So it's not too far-fetched there, but it's just interesting to hear the different dynamic from a month and a half ago to right now.
Right, and a month and a half ago, that wasn't trash talk. I mean, he said Odell Beckham is a premier player, so am I. This is why people want to watch the game of football for these kind of matchups. He's not wrong, right? You can focus on the team aspect of it, and the most important thing the Jags can do today is win the football game, right? After that, who doesn't want to see this play out, right? It's drama. It's the game within the game. So I'm not of the belief that you can only focus on one thing at one point in time. I'm not talking about how Doug Marrone wants his players to approach a game. I'm just talking about in general. There are so many things I'm looking forward to. I want to see how Blake Bortles plays. I want to see all these individual matchups play out. Ultimately, we want to see the Jaguars win the football game. But what a surprise. Where did we get this idea that this matchup should be worthy of discussion, JP? Oh, wait, from Jalen himself, like
That's
you
right.
said, a little over a month ago, and y'all trying to make it about us. No, you did your part in that as well, Jalen, and I think maybe a message was given to him by the franchise accordingly with the 1 game or the 1 week suspension, that maybe tone it down and focus on the team aspect and let your play do the talking on the field.
Odell Beckham Jr. this week in the locker room in New York was complimentary of this Jaguars defense and number 20.
This is probably, if not the best, one of the best corners in the league. There's no way around it. And this defense that they have is, they have 6-7 Pro Bowlers, maybe more on their team. They have a very good scheme. They're probably the best defense in the NFL. So we have a very tough challenge ahead of us, but I think we're all excited about the opportunity just to be able to come back, play football again. I know that I'm very excited, so it's definitely going to be a good match.
Of course, he missed most of last season with that injury, and he's back. That's the big thing. But there's a past with him when a corner is talkative or things get physical.
Josh Norman in particular.
That's the one that stands out, where they had the big physical confrontation throughout that game. And he says, and they asked him about that this week too. Yeah, I kind of took the cheese a little bit in that one, and maybe I'm not going to do that anymore. But until he doesn't do it anymore, that's the thing.
He said he's learned some lessons. What's the big deal? What if he hasn't? What lesson do you have to learn? It's not like he's going out there committing a crime. If he wants to get in a war of words with Jalen Ramsey or some other cornerback, it does hype up the game. Now, the coaching staffs, I can't speak for them and the organizations, how they feel about it, but just as an observer of the NFL, talk, say what you want to. He says, hey, I've learned from my past mistakes. Did it really impact him all that negatively? I mean, it drew a lot of attention to that matchup. Did it impact his play on the field? Sometimes he didn't control his emotions on the field. I think that's the concern.
That's right.
If you can't do that, then that is an issue. But in terms of running your mouth a little bit before or during the game, I don't really think it's all that big a concern.
Yeah, I think both ways, actually. I mean, there are much worse things going on than a little trash talk throughout the media.
He does all of a sudden, though, Odell Beckham, he's got this brand new contract. He's, now the elder statesman kind of face of the franchise. spokesman for the team, JP. He's going to go buy the book. Like you said, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it won't last
maybe
through
midway
60
through the
minutes
first quarter.
today, right? Yeah, exactly. About 5 minutes into the football game. Opening week, of course, everybody's fired up for the first game, and certainly that includes Jaguars linebacker and defensive captain Telvin Smith.
You can take us to the park around the corner and say it's opening day, and the fact that you know that it's the first one, you ain't did this in a while. It's a lot of anticipation of what the season going to be like, what your team going to be like as individuals, what you going to come out and be like. It's just opening day is opening day for any sport. I think it has that. So no matter where it's at, we wish we could have came out here to Duval and opened it up, but, we're going to get our shot.
Yeah, Telvin's fired up. They'll play in the park around the corner. They're ready to go do this thing, and that's kind of the feeling on defense right now. They're super confident. Let's line up. Let's play anywhere we want to line up and play against any offense we can line up and play against, and they feel confident they can get the job done most times.
They did it last year. They opened on the road versus Houston. The trick is coming back and not having that win-loss start to the season like they had. I mean, the hype for next week's game, assuming the Jags win, and we can't assume anything, but if the Jags and the Patriots each win an opening weekend, the rematch of the AFC title game will be beyond hype, honestly, next week. But that's then the way to make it that is to go out there and win today, take care of business against the Giants.
There you have it, some of today's top stories. Up next on Countdown to Kickoff, we'll look around the National Football League as we head into Week 1. Jaguars-Giants at 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brooks offers rehabilitation services such as inpatient care, outpatient therapy, skilled nursing, home health, assisted living, and memory care. They also have a wide range of community programs, as well as a comprehensive pediatric program. Brooks offers high-quality care from their expert clinical team to help you meet your rehabilitation goals. To learn more, visit brooksrehab.org. That's brooksrehab.org.
Yuengling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, Tide 46 to 50-ounce laundry detergent is on sale for $5.99.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Countdown to Kickoff continues. The Jags and the Giants come up at 1 o'clock. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, the site for the season opener. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey. We're in Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field, the HananiahAutos.com studio, our location today. And a good location to be with all these screens around here in the studio looking at Week 1 in the National Football League, and always busy. Some big news leading up to the games this week as well. But finally, everybody's playing football for real again.
Most everybody. Certainly some key injured guys out this week, but I get the point you're trying to make here. Every team in action in opening weekend, JP. And we'll start with some injured players of note. Joey Bosa will not play for the L.A. Chargers. He's got a foot injury described as a bone bruise, but he was wearing a walking boot this week, and it looks like he's going in for a second opinion on that. That's one to watch. Eric Berry on the other side as the Chiefs play the Chargers. All also doubtful to play with a heel injury. Looks like he won't be suiting up. Devontae Parker's officially been ruled out for the Miami Dolphins as they take on the Tennessee Titans today, the wide receiver with a finger injury. Will Fuller, the receiver for the Texans, with a hamstring injury, was a late scratch as well, as he was listed as a game-time decision. The Colts will be without both the starting left tackle, Anthony Costanzo, as well as running back Marlon Mack as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals today. And on Monday Night Football, it looks like Jermaine Kearse will not be there for the New York Jets and their wide receiver corps as they take on the Detroit Lions. Some other news from around the league: the Arizona Cardinals reach agreement with David Johnson on a new 3-year contract extension that will reportedly pay the running back $30 million guaranteed, with a top end somewhere between $45 and $50 million. Meanwhile, Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell's holdout will extend through week 1 of the regular season at least, as Bell failed to report this week to sign his franchise tender, which would pay him $14.5 million this season. Bell forfeits over $800,000 for every game he misses this year. James Conner will start in Bell's place today as the Steelers open on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, Seattle safety Earl Thomas ended his holdout just a few days ago. He'll be active today versus the Denver Broncos. Thomas seeking either a new contract from Seattle or a trade. He got neither and will instead have to settle for making $8 million this year. The Oakland Raiders traded for former Steeler wide receiver Martavis Bryant this offseason, sending a third-round pick to Pittsburgh in exchange, only to cut him before the season began, and with rumors swirling that he may have to miss the season due to a drug suspension. Randy Gregory, Dallas Cowboy pass rusher, news coming out this morning that he suffered a relapse. He's previously been suspended under the substance abuse policy. The league is said to be ruling on Gregory sometime this week, so looks like he'll be able to suit up for the Cowboys today, but maybe not again for a while.
You have it a look around the league. Hey, week 1, we know we're fired up for the Jaguars-Giants game today. What other matchup are you looking at today that you like to see? For me, it's Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs Chargers
is excellent. I think with some guys missing on defense, you could have more of a shootout feel. The Chiefs have beat them 4 in a row here, but LA's at home. I like the Chargers to win that game. Sunday Night Football, the oldest rivalry in the National Football League. The Packers 95-93 with a handful of ties against the Chicago Bears, and the Pack have won their last 4 to take the lead in the all-time series. They play in Lambeau Field tonight. I want to see Kirk Cousins, what he looks like with that Minnesota offense going up against the 49ers. A lot of people think they're a dark horse playoff team with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback for a full season now. And, you just look around the AFC South. You've got the Texans taking on the New England Patriots. So you're going to, as a Jaguar fan, root for the Patriots today and then root like heck against them next week, obviously. And they're without Will Fuller. Tennessee opening in Miami. Indianapolis has Andrew Luck back, and they open with the Cincinnati Bengals without a couple of key players. So I think the Jags, with a win today, are going to gain some separation right off the jump, at least on a couple of these teams. I think Tennessee will eke out a win over Miami. I think the other 2 AFC South teams are headed for losses today.
There you go. Wow, you're calling it. I
it's
like
not
it.
That, got
that far-fetched.
Right. I mean, you're going into New England for the opener, although New England got worked by Kansas City last year in the opener, so it's certainly not a laydown.
There you have it, a look around the National Football League. Busy schedule at Daly's Place next week. The kickoff concerts ahead of the home opener against the Patriots. September 12th, Deep Purple and Judas Priest. September 13th, Dierks Bentley. September 14th, Sting and Shaggy. Tickets at dailysplace.com. We'll return with Mike Dempsey's visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco. The Jags and the Giants kick it off at 1 o'clock in New York. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network. Say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Some things make a house your home. Like endless hot water that makes the tranquility from an everyday shower your thing. When heating water with natural gas, you have hot water when you need it, save money, and earn a rebate up to $675. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
This season, it could be you that takes the field through the TIAA Bank Take the Field sweepstakes. For each home game, one lucky fan will win 2 club tickets and pregame sideline access to be on the field as the Jaguars are introduced. To enter and for official rules, go to TIAABank.com/takethefield today. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Void where prohibited. Entry period from 8/6/2018 to 12/5/2018. For official rules and complete details, visit TIAABank.com/takethefield. Sponsor TIAA Bank, a division of TIAA FSB.
Geico presents Unhelpful Home Improvement How-Tos.
Lightning can spark a fire in seconds. So today, I'll show you how to protect your belongings by covering them in a fireproof blanket fort. All you need is a hammer, nails, and 700 fireproof blankets. Upon completion, you'll notice your apartment isn't just fireproof, it's also extremely cozy.
You could try to protect your valuables with a fireproof blanket fort, or you could get covered for personal property damage through the Geico Insurance Agency. Go to geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
We continue to count down to kick off the season opener for the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road versus the New York Giants. Mike Dempsey here, and joined now by CBS Sports' own Pete Prisco, the senior NFL writer. Pete, we wait all summer, and finally it's here, the NFL season. Happy opening day.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? You get through that preseason, you see the first game, and you're like, all right, get on with it, and I'm ready for it. I can't wait. I love opening Sunday in the National Football League.
I love the doubleheader on Monday night, the first week as well. I wish they'd do that every week, but that's me. Let's worry about the Jags right now. Pete, were you happy with what you saw from this team in the preseason?
I mean, there were some growing pains there. I think, Blake Bortles throwing 3 interceptions was not a good thing, but he responded from them, so I think he's okay there. There's not a lot of spots where you really worry about this team, and I think depth is one area. I mean, I think depth at linebacker will be, could be a problem down the road if somebody gets hurt. But, they got depth on the defensive line. Nobody has depth on the offensive line. And losing Marquise Lee will be felt at some point, but I think these young receivers are ready to step up.
Biggest reason for optimism for you, obviously a ton of defensive talent. Is that it alone?
Well, I think they're going to be improved offensively, too. I think defense could be, one of those special type of defenses like the Ravens used to have, and maybe the Bucs when they won it, and even Seattle. But on offense, I think they're going to be much improved. And I'm, one of those guys out there that doesn't think Blake Bortles is nearly as bad as he's portrayed in the national media. Every time he makes a mistake, people jump on him. But I think he's going to be confident this year. You saw him throw the ball well. When he didn't throw the picks, he responded and threw the ball well. And you know what? I think he's got a better receiving group than he's had in the offensive line with Norwell at left guard. And I think A.J. Cann had a great preseason. I think they'll be able to run the ball better. So add it all up, it's a better football team, Mike.
If there's a breakout player for you, Pete, on each side of the football, who would that be? Give me one offense, one defense.
Keelan Cole would be the breakout player on offense. And I know we didn't see a lot from him in the preseason. I don't think they actually set out to try and target him for some reason. It was weird. But I still hear from people in that building that he's going to be one of those guys that they feel is going to be productive. And you saw glimpses of it late last year. Now he knows the offense better. So I think on offense it'll be Keelan Cole. On defense, it's hard. Miles Jack has to be the guy. I mean, I just what we saw last year in the last 3 games in the playoffs, he was a different guy, and he was much more comfortable. And I think he has a chance to really take his game to the next level.
We look at the rookie class for the Jacksonville Jaguars as we talk here with Pete Prisco on Countdown to Kickoff. Pete, we know Leon Jacobs earned a starting job, but that position, strong side linebacker, doesn't play 100% of the downs. So I'll ask you this. Over the course of the season, which rookie do you think will make the biggest impact on this football team?
I think Ronnie Harrison will end up being the guy making the biggest impact. I think he's going to be on the field in special packages more than we think, and I think ultimately he's going to play. He might push for one of those starting spots. So I think Ronnie Harrison, of all those guys, all the rookie players, I think he might be the guy that maybe has the biggest impact. Leon Jacobs, like you mentioned, Ronnie Harrison could end up playing nearly as many snaps as Jacobs, even though he's not a starter. So I think keep an eye on Ronnie Harrison.
And he could have a role, Ronnie Harrison, that is, in guarding Evan Ingram this week alone. So let's take a look at it. Jags defense versus the Giants offense. Who's got the advantage here?
Oh, I think it's a major advantage for the Jacksonville defense. I know that the Giants have Saquon Barkley and they got Odell Beckham back, I still worry about the offensive line, particularly on the right side. You know, Patrick Omame, who was with the Jaguars, is the right guard. Eric Flowers, the right tackle. The center is not overpowering either. And quite frankly, Nate Solder's been good in pass protection, but never a great guy in the run game. So I think that's a definite advantage to the Jaguars on the defensive side of the football.
All right, flip it around. Giants defense taking on this Jaguar offense.
You know, the Giants have some questions on that defense. Will Vernon go? I mean, that's a major question. You know, and then you look at the secondary. The corners are questionable at best. I know, you know, Eli Apple's got to step up his game, and the nickel corner will be a guy that can attack in Webb. So I think they're going to have a chance to make some plays down the field. And, you know, the down guys on the Giants, there's a rookie starter there. That could be somewhere where they attack as well. I think, again, I think if the offensive line is what I think it can be, I think Jacksonville will move the football, too.
Do you think Jacksonville ends up repeating as AFC South Division champs this year?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it, and I think they're going to be a deep playoff team, if not be the Super Bowl team. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I think they're loaded. I think, you know, when you look at their defense, Calais Campbell was second in Defensive Player of the Year last year. Jalen Ramsey could win it this year, but I think Yannick Ngakoue will win it this year. So you add it all up, I think there's talent all across the board. This is the go-to year, Mike. They got to make the run because they're not going to be able to keep everybody next year.
I'm with you. The window is never going to be wider than it is at this very moment. So, Pete, it begins in just a little while, less than an hour from kickoff. What's your official prediction on today's game?
I think the Jaguars handle the Giants pretty easily. I know it's tough opening on the road, but this is a confident, cocky, arrogant team, and they think they can go anywhere and play. So I definitely think they win this game and get off to a good start.
And some would say you know a lot about confident, cocky, and arrogant. I'm just saying I wouldn't be one of those people, but some would say that about Pete Prisco of CBS
That is
Sports.
true. I won't deny that.
Pete, always good to catch up with you, man. We're all glad that the real thing is here now. Let's hope everybody stays healthy and the Jags play up to their potential. Look forward to talking to you each week as we count down to kickoff.
You got it, Mike. Take care.
All right, buddy. There he goes. Pete Prisco from CBS Sports, our senior NFL writer. We'll take a visit to the booth coming up next. Frank Frangie, Jeff Logman, and Tony Baselli are along as well. You're listening to Jaguars Radio.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the